What's going on, everybody? We back at it. Shout out to everybody that's been rocking with your boy. YouTube then finally did it. Shout out to YouTube. You know what I mean? They ended up giving me the what is it, like the YouTube plaque. I appreciate them. I put it right there. It's smaller than I thought it was. You know what I mean? I thought it would be bigger than that. But shout out to them, you know what I mean, for doing all of that. They was kind of very, very helpful. I thought, like, when you not to talk about the plaque too much, I thought like as soon as you hit 100,000 you get the plaque, but it's not like that. It's like you hit 100,000 and then you got to reach out to them, you know what I mean? It's like this whole process or whatever. But shout out to them, they finally sent it. Once I got the redemption code, it came like mad fast, you know what I mean? Like, so shout out to them for going ahead and do that. Shout out to the people that's coming into the chat. So it looks like Candace Owens, I would say, is under fire. You know, because she got a couple of people coming at her right now. She got my son ended up coming at her, and I think Hassan, Campbell, shout out to him, he did a video about it. I do want to react to that video to see what he's talking about, you know. And shout out to my son too, like he invited me to come up to talk to him on his IG, you know what I mean? I think it was just like one of them days he just wanted somebody to come up there and talk. I don't know, you know what I mean? But maybe one day, I don't know, maybe I could end up doing that. But let's hear what she's got to say. So I don't know if y'all been paying attention to Candace Owens or not, but she ended up putting out like information that's been circulating around. Basically, that Kamala Harris was paying celebrities to go to her speeches or whatnot, and I guess people are saying that Beyonce was never paid. But if you look at the way Candace Owens titled it, I think she may have corrected the title, or she may have titled it like that, but I think she said something along the lines, it's like Beyonce is allegedly paid to attend like Kamala Harris's rally, you know. So I think somebody came out in defense of Beyonce, saying that Beyonce never got paid. And, you know, and then I think Beyonce's mom actually had something to say to Candace Owens on Instagram. But let's hear all of this, then we're going to get to the other news of the day. But shout out to everybody.
All right, guys, happy Monday. Hope you had a great weekend. I was having a great weekend, totally normal. Went to the farmer's market with the kids, took them to the toy store. And then somebody texted me and said that Beyonce's mommy came for me on Instagram. I said, what? Excuse me? Tina Knowles? What have I done to deserve this? This is so wrong. We're going to talk about that. Also, we have former Vice President Mike Pence, who has come after RFK Jr. Apparently, he does not believe that he should be confirmed, and he's got an interesting reason as to why. Plus, another day, another watch list. What would your reaction be if I told you that a foreign nation was bragging about creating a technology? Called me this morning. She's like,
it's so much news I want to get to like a little bit later on. Like, if y'all can hit the like button, you know what I'm saying, so we can try to get this video into circulation. You know, it's a lot of competition right now. Shout out to everybody. Like
the nice one, you know, the soft one. And she told me to remember that we were raised to show respect to our elders. She said, be nice to Ms. Tina Knowles. And I am going to be nice. I'm going to be as gentle as I possibly can to Beyonce's mammy going on here. But I am
her mammy.
to say I am not Becky with
I can't get over this. Life. It is what it is. I had a bet with somebody to get like 100,000 subscribers, you know what I'm saying? We just like talk about whatever we're gonna talk about and get to 100,000 subscribers. I got to 100,000. I still didn't get paid. It was like $100 bet. I didn't got my plaque and everything before I got paid from this bet. You know what I'm saying? What is going on? You know, but shout out to you too. This is crazy. You know what I mean? Let's listen.
I'm not going to tolerate this, trying to play the culture, thinking everyone's going to think it's a slam dunk. Oh, no, we're not doing that. There will be a response here. So let me just
back Candace about to crash out.
It up to give everyone a refresher of how this drama all started. So Kamala lost the election, and then people were stunned when a political reporter broke the story that despite having $1 billion in the bank at the start of this year, the Biden-Harris campaign ended with negative $20 million. This was the tweet. This was the reporter, Christopher Cadell.
That's still like crazy that she spent all of that money.
Lago, he wrote Kamala Harris's campaign ended with at least $20 million in debt per two sources familiar. She raised over $1 billion and had $118 million in the bank as of October 16th. So just a couple of weeks before the election, this woman had $118 million in the bank, and then it all magically evaporated. And then the DNC staffers and the campaigners began pointing the finger at one another as to who or what was to blame for this colossal failure and also just financial irresponsibility. And in the midst of the blame game, a Kamala campaign staffer leaked to the press. Make that clear. A Kamala campaign staffer leaked to the press with specific amounts that musical celebrities had been paid for their endorsements. Allegedly, they listed Megan Thee Stallion, they listed Eminem, and they listed Beyonce with specific amounts.
What do y'all think in the comment section? Do you guys believe, like, with this person that leaked, like, the expenses? Do you believe that person or no? Like, because, I mean, anybody can come out with anything, you know, alleging that Kamala Harris paid celebrities, but it's not necessarily, you know what I mean, law. So I don't know. I mean, Oprah Winfrey said she was never paid, but then a production company was paid 2 installments of $500,000. So she may not have had anything directly, you know, like sent to her, but if it's her production company, whatever, I don't know. TMZ questioned her. Oprah Winfrey denied it, you know.
So again, let's not forget this. The rumor came from Kamala's campaign.
You can come in.
It blew up and it was everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. I was actually late to covering it. I was 4 days late to covering the news item on my own show. But I'm just going to refresh your memory that this did not come from Candace Owens, and everyone was reporting this. Here is Fox News, the show outnumbered, a host, 5 or 4 hosts discussing it. Take a listen.
So I was really curious to see, did any of those celebrities, I mean, Beyonce, $10 million.
And then Level Playing Field said they spent that money somewhere they were most likely playing influencers as well. Yo, it's some Diddy news coming out. I like after this, like live, we're gonna end up talking about all that stuff. Like it's crazy what's going on in this whole Diddy situation.
Did she vote for Kamala Harris?
Right.
I mean,
before.
And for one, you know, just Megan Thee Stallion got, what, $5 million. I don't know, and Kamala Harris doesn't know what these people would do if they got that money. And as I understand it, some of the fundraising emails that you were just talking about were still going out Tuesday night at 10 p.m.
Okay, no response from Beyonce's Mammy. Then Patrick Bet-David, alongside Charlie Kirk and a host of other people, discussed it on the PBD podcast. Take a listen.
They gave Oprah Winfrey $1 million. I bet Oprah's pissed off that they gave Beyonce 10 times what they gave her.
It's Chris Cuomo up there as well. Again, no response from Beyonce's Mammy. And then the biggest podcaster in the world, discussed it on his podcast alongside comedian Jeff Dye. Let's listen to Joe Rogan.
How much did Beyonce get?
She got $10 million.
$10 million?
But hold on. She talked for like 3 minutes. That's good.
What do you mean that's good?
I mean, that's enough.
That's too much.
No, it's plenty. It's perfect.
$10 million.
It's a good deal. It's a good deal, the taxpayers' money. I mean, it's a good deal, all these people that are like donating money to the Democratic Party, and they're $20 million in debt. Here's the crazy thing.
Mutants.
So it's worth noting that during this time frame, the Daily Mail, Newsweek, publications left and right went out to Kamala's campaign and Beyonce's team multiple times to confirm these reports, to confirm these amounts. Both refused to respond to it. So then Candace Owens covers it on her show, again, late to the party last week. And apparently this is what broke Beyonce. Beyonce just completely had some sort of a mental breakdown and called her mommy about this. And it's like Candace Owens is saying what everybody else has been saying for an entire week, but this is Candace Owens. And this must have been what led her team to decide to phone it in to Mark Zuckerberg, which, by the way, is 100% what happened. Take this to the bank, okay? Somebody had a contact at Meta. And they contacted Meta and said, can you take down Candace Owens' post, despite the fact that this went viral and it was everywhere? She wanted my post about it to be removed. And to be clear, in my post, I said, allegedly. Joe Rogan is not saying allegedly there. I was clear that it was a report. I was clear of where exactly the report came from and said that it was still pending because we were awaiting the FEC final report, which is supposed to come from Kamala's campaign, which would include amounts to Beyonce. And so when you have a report and when you're basically saying this is allegedly, it's coming from this campaign, there's no way that you can get this taken down from Instagram. Again, because those words allegedly, it's a report and we're waiting for a confirmation, protect you. There's no standard for this. And still, Beyonce and her team managed to get my post taken down, specifically my post being the only post that was taken down. I'm just showing you this. Like, they flagged this as false information reviewed by third-party fact checkers. And you can still see the caption we put on that. We put the word allegedly.
Yo, that's crazy, bro. Deontay Kennedy, shout out to you. He said, Thug Life just made it in. Share, subscribe, join a membership, be a part of history. I appreciate you, Deontay Kennedy. Shout out to you, man.
Next to it. Beyonce was paid $10 million.
I got like some weird like bloggers like trying to leech off of me now. Some not lit bloggers trying to leech off of me. Like, go somewhere. Y'all just they getting mad that I'm a Republican. Like, y'all, I don't understand, bro. Be mad.
Endorse Kamala, ? Allegedly. So it's really shocking. Even in the article, they are rating this false, but they say that they can't debunk the report. It just says, well, there's no evidence for this just yet, which basically means, look, Beyonce's team's upset. We don't have evidence for it yet. So we're going to take it down just to placate them. Absolutely ridiculous, pathetic. I think it's spineless. And like, of all of the things that have been said about me on the internet, every day there's something fake that I said. I promise you, I never said it. I'm being attacked. I'm like, there's no clip of me saying it. There's no means for me to ever get it taken down, but she was able to do this. It was a total elitist move. Anyways, Mammy Tina decides to brag about these elitist connections that someone was clearly able to pull behind the scenes, able to pull these strings and target just Candace Owens. And she posted this to her Instagram page. She posted, so this, and this is a picture of my show page. So this has been flagged on Instagram as fake news and taken down. It's called false information. Sadly, other platforms.
Like, Miss Knowles, you got to understand, like, your daughter is Beyonce. You don't have to respond to anybody. And I know, like, she probably feels like Candace Owens is bullying Beyonce, you know, so she wants to step out and support her daughter. But like, the best thing like you can do is just handle it a different type of way. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe your legal team, like, do that, but just go in public and you're not gonna turn, like, you gotta understand, like, Candace Owens is used to going back and forth with Cardi B, like, people like that, like, so, and she's used to a lot of people not liking her. So, I mean, I don't know what Miss Knowles thinks she's gonna do, and all Candace Owens is gonna do is to exploit her. You see what I'm saying? And get viewership, more viewership off of her, and make money off of her. So,
with a lack of integrity, still have it up. So she's admitting this is just a target of Candace Owens. The lie is that Beyonce was paid $10 million to speak at a rally in Houston for Vice President Kamala Harris, when in fact Beyonce did not receive a penny for speaking at presidential candidate Vice President Kamala Harris's rally in Houston. In fact, she actually paid for her own flights for her and her team, and total glam. She's not even aware of how privileged that sounds. They are not only lying and disrespecting Beyonce's name, but they are trying to further discredit the power of our vice president. When does the lies and rumors stop? She meant to say when do. Of course, you won't see this in the news! ! Times 5. Okay, so parking aside the fact that Tina Knowles is still grifting off her ex-husband's last name so people know that she's related to Beyonce. To be clear, Tina and her ex-husband Matthew divorced 13 years ago. Her name is Tina Lawson, not Knowles, but let's keep up the Knowles so people can put some respect on your name. We have to seriously ask ourselves why she chose to target just me, which, by the way, this whole post, as cool as she thought she was with John Legend in the comments, just being like, yeah, you got her. It was actually not well received by the public at all. So I'm going to show you the comments under the Instagram page, which broke the story, which was the neighborhood talk. And you can see, we're just showing you these comments in a row. Somebody writes, Tina, hush. Next person says, she's basically saying they got a bigger bag than a messy 10 million. How preposterous is that? She then says, she lost me at discredit vice president. Hope when the receipts are publicly posted, that'll be the end of that, allegedly. Next person says, that ish public record, go ahead. Next says, I know she is Beyonce's mom, but she does too much. Next person says, Tina, give it up, please. On the following page, it's more of the same. Beyonce never speaks for herself. She was paid, Tina. Beyonce doesn't do anything for free. She got paid. Next person, she was definitely paid. This actually makes Kamala look bad, because if the celebrities wasn't paid, then where is all that money at? And lastly, this person says...
Yeah, exactly. Like, what does she do with all that money if she didn't pay the celebrities up?
All of these artists denying being paid, and the campaign funds literally got drained to negative digits. How? 10 years ago, comments like that would have been unfathomable. That many Black people openly speaking out and questioning the queen in this way. The queen could do no wrong 10 years ago. Oh my gosh, if you said one thing about Beyonce, the whole hive came for you. You were over, you were done. Couldn't touch one hair on her pretty head. We now fast forward 10 years and you have Candace Owens casually stating that I don't even think that Beyonce's had a good album since 4. She's just a part of the establishment machine. Everything she does, no matter what, they pretend that it's amazing and that it's awesome. And quite frankly, it's not a challenge to her. It's not a challenge to her to be told, like her and Taylor Swift are, that everything they do is amazing, even when it sucks. So Beyonce and her mommy targeted me, this is my belief, because I'm emblematic of something that frustrates them. It's a changing social economy in the world where what has always worked for them in the past is no longer interesting to the public. This is an economy where authenticity pays. And Beyonce does not remember what it means to be authentic anymore because she's been playing the role of a queen for so long and she's grown so accustomed to simply visiting the Commonwealth every 4 years. She comes out.
Y'all done got Candace Owens started, bruh. But you know what? Let me be real. Like, Candace may not understand, like, her influence and power. You see what I'm saying? Like, she can tweet something. I appreciate y'all for hitting the likes and emojis and everything. Candace Owens can tweet something and it can get like a 50, 60,000 like likes. You know what I mean? Like, crazy number of retweets, comments. So she, you know, Candace is low-key young, you know what I mean? So she may just really not understand her influence. And so when she says something and she puts videos together, you know, a lot of people rock with you, Candace. You know, people could be super hurt, you know what I mean, by her. And, you know, take it to the point to where they want to go on social media and blast you like Miss Knowles. But I don't know, man. I don't know, man. Like, Candace Owens, she low-key a journalist. So, just let Candace Owens rock. Because the one thing y'all don't want to do, make her mad and then let her start a series on y'all like she did Kamala Harris. Y'all don't want that.
Nobody knows where she is for us, and she comes out and she reminds us all who we should be voting for. Ah, yes. Hillary Clinton. Please, I'm here. Commonwealth. You people, remember, I am your queen, her and Jay-Z. Oh, yes, please vote for Kamala. As a mother, I'm telling you to do this. Like I said, 10 years ago, Beyonce and Jay-Z telling us who to vote for, that would have mattered, but it just doesn't anymore. Actually, it's annoying. People find it to be somewhat annoying. Beyonce, listen to me, girlfriend, because I know you're watching. You don't got a text from your mommy's burner account on Instagram. You're annoying now. It's just tired, okay? You got to switch it up, do something new. Seem like a person, pretend you care about the Commonwealth. Maybe every 2 years, come out, do a podcast, pretend to be a human being. All of this is just tired because thankfully we now live in a world that looks and sounds like this. Watch this clip of Donald.
I mean, like, when you look at how she broke down Kamala Harris, I mean, she's clearly a Republican. You know what I mean? Like, she's biased towards Republicans, but I mean, she does, like, I mean, a lot of times she does really good investigative journalism. She does. I can give her that.
Trump walking out at
What's
UFC
up, Marcus
over the
Chapman?
weekend.
45, soon to be 47.
I can't do that. Dana White got me blocked, so I'm not about to play none of his footage.
Ways that are absolutely incredible, and most of them, in fact, all of them that I have met have backstories where they came from absolutely nothing. You're hearing blue-collar workers, you're hearing truckers, you're hearing drivers, you're hearing people that Beyonce likely calls to fix things when they're broken, okay? Those are the people that are screaming, excited that Donald Trump has been elected, people who would never in a million years spend $2,000 for a seat to watch you sing at your concerts. And so simply, this is just not a world that Beyonce and her mommy know. That's what's happening. By the way, John Jones won the heavyweight belt that night. He defended his heavyweight belt that night. And when he did, he decided to do the viral Trump dance. Take a look at this.
Yeah, what?
Really caution you to see which way the wind is blowing, girlfriend, because it is not in your favor. And that's all I'm going to say on that topic. All right, guys, before we get into this next topic, which is crazy, in many ways, this past election brought abortion to the forefront.
Hold on real quick. So shout out to Hassan Campbell. He did a video talking about my sons going at Candace Owens.
All right. I'm going to just jump right into this video, right? So much to talk about. So much is on the table. Y'all already knew the rules.
Shout out to subscribe to Hassan Campbell. Let me hit that like. He has a lot of great like commentary with various different things that happen in the hip hop culture. And now he's kind of breaking into a little bit like with politics and stuff. And he has like pretty good thoughts usually. So let's listen to what he got to say about it.
When you come in my house, take off your shoes and super violate that like button. Are you not entertained? I'm not entertained anymore. I'm actually aggravated at the ignorance and the level of ignorance. Not just the level of ignorance, but the level of... You ever felt like somebody thought you was stupid and they trying to play with you?
Yo, Hassan getting so much money, bro. He got, this thing's expensive. He getting bread, bro.
Like you're
Shout out to
stupid.
Hassan.
Well, lately that's how I've been feeling with this Biden administration and some of these paid activists. Shall we begin? So now, my son said, serious question. What has Candace Owens ever done for black people? What has she contributed to the black plight that gives her opinion any validity in our culture? First and foremost, what culture? Hip hop is dead. The music industry is over.
What do y'all think about that? I mean, I think hip hop is dead too, bro. Like, to be real, like, cause it's nothing but like mumble rap, and the rappers that we have now, they're not doing anything but trying to destroy the community. So I don't like. So what do they mean? Like the culture? Like what kind of like what are they talking about? What is she not contributing to? I think she's helping people wake up and realize, you know, you need to do something else with your life and make something good. Somebody said, Madigal said hip hop is dead. I think hip hop is dead. I mean, you still got rap and all that. I think hip hop is dead. I think so.
Haven't you heard how everybody is being laid off and fired? There's no more money there. What culture? Because the DJs, just like you paid activists, was charging rappers to play their music on the radio. Hip hop is dead. So we're going to get out of there. Outside of hip hop, there is no culture in the black community. Let's not play dumb. That's for one. For two, how do you go out and tell the world, right? The world, which includes Candace Owens, that everybody needs to get out and vote, right? Everybody, that includes her. She has a major platform that's bigger than yours, right? So she uses her platform, her influence that she built.
For those that don't know, my son he's a Democrat, you know, so he's going to go against her, you know, naturally. But I wonder what he said.
Built her own empire, whether you like it or not, my son, lefty, gun up in the right palm. Paid activist. She built her own platform to give herself the right to be able to be an influencer or to influence the people that's part of her movement. What gives you the right, my son, to actually try to convince her followers not to follow her? They don't rock with you. The people that did believe in you, like how you just asked me on your post, what have I done? I've raised foster children with my poor self. I've raised foster children. I've actually been out there on the front line protesting with you, remember? Deborah, Dana, the elderly woman that was gunned down by the police. Remember, I was out.
It would be kind of interesting to see a debate between my son and Candace Owens. That would be really interesting. Like if they could be in the same room and talk, I would like that. I want to hear that.
With you, when you told me you was going to help me with my fight, but this is not about that. We're not going to get into that. What we're going to get into the fact that is that now that it's all the way out in the open, we knew during the marches, Y'all was getting paid off of the dead bodies that the police was dropping. That's why y'all was out there marching, right? We know that now that in today's time that we're living in, that it is out and that Beyonce and other celebrities was paid off, allegedly, by the Biden administration to get Kamala Harris in office. So it wasn't about what Kamala Harris was doing for the people. It wasn't even really about my body, my choice, which you, my son, you was part of my body, my choice, which means that under that umbrella, under Satan's umbrella, you was okay with little boys and little girls using the same bathroom. My son, you and Tamika Mallory, and your
I'm just now remembering. He been going at my son for a minute. Like they kind of been, having like some quarrel for a minute. Now I'm starting to remember. Shout out to them, man. I ain't got no problem with either one of them.
Freedom program was also down with taxpayers funding, paying for little boys that's confused to go to a doctor and get himself mutilated, doing sex change.
One thing I do want to say before we continue with this. So DJ Who Kid, shout out to him. He ended up doing a live, I think, and he said that he talked to Jake Paul. And I posted it on my, let me see if I can show y'all. This is about Mike Tyson. You know what I mean? I do want to say this real quick, right? So, if I can find, yeah, all right, here you go.
Jake Paul came and I talked to him.
But he basically saying Jake Paul was letting them know, like, they couldn't really do nothing.
Yeah, this is the problem. This is what happened, okay? Legally, they each cannot go at each other hard. Because if Mike hits Jake Paul, like really hit him, like if Mike Tyson, like he still has it, but if Mike Tyson hit Jake Paul will die. Like he's gonna die. Like he's gonna be dead. Like if he went all in, that's why you saw a lot of like, if Jake Paul would hit Mike Tyson, I think because of Mike Tyson's age, he would kill Mike Tyson. So the rules were that they gotta chill. You know what I'm saying? That's what I heard. That's what I heard. They both had to chill. You could tell Mike is responsive. He was almost like, because you could tell when he goes 1-2, but then he stops, because he would kill him. It would be over.
What y'all think about that? He said he talked to Jake Paul, and that's what they're telling him. I don't know.
You was down with that, my son. So what gives you the right to speak on Candace Owens or anything else anymore when we, the people, don't believe in you? See, the reality of it is, my son, most black men like myself, we can't afford to be getting on airplanes going from state to state when we got wives and kids at home ourselves, and half the community barely even have a job. So we understand, even when you was riding around on planes, jumping from state to state, that there was a budget paying for your hotels, paying for your food, paying for your clothes, paying for your protest, paying for your bells when you got locked up with the staged arrest. We figured this out. And now the people that used to believe in you and other celebrities, we don't believe in y'all no more. But see,
Beyonce Kennedy says, seems like a paid speech to me, makes no sense. I mean, just my personal opinion, I think those celebrities were paid. That's my personal opinion. I don't know if that's true or not, though.
Crazy part about it is, it's this thing called social media, right? It's this crazy thing called social media.
Yeah, if y'all can, so the like button, you can't really see it, I don't think. Double tap the screen, you know what I'm saying? Hit the hearts and emojis and all that if you can. A lot of people going live right now, so it's a lot of competition. So if y'all can, that'd be appreciated. I think we got 1,200 watching right now.
That started giving people like me and Candace Owens a voice, where we started building our own audiences. And now, for some strange reason, we the people, we don't watch the news anymore. We don't trust the news. because of what they're showing on the news, because, you know, the media is also a weapon used against black celebrities like your boy Diddy, right? The Diddler. So now, Diddy, well, we see what the media does when you cross certain lines. We watching. We seeing what the media does to Diddy. So the people, like we the people, we became our own media. So when you got influencers like Hassan Campbell, yeah, the social media thing, it backfired. It backfired on the powers to be, because I don't think they foresaw the fact that some of us influencers it's even two things.
Bro, so when I'm going to talk to y'all about, like, when we get in, because we probably going to have to do a whole nother blog, right? Another live about the whole Diddy, because it's mad different opinions and stuff I want to, like, touch on. And it's like these people from the government are going to influencers' houses and asking them, you know, if Diddy and them are paying them to talk about this. So it's like, it's a lot going on, man. I want to get into, but we gonna do all this first.
See, for two things with me, because I'm a little in between, where they didn't think that our influence.
Amazing Trey said Kamala bought her audience, and my favorite moment was when she told them to shout their own names, and it went radio silent.
Be more powerful.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Then they're celebrities. Then they're puppets, like you mites. Then they're puppets. Or two, because my mind, you got to play chess. You got to look at the opposite side. It's like the like, share, and subscribe, right? Everything's digital. When you hit that like button, everything's digital. When you hit that share button, you are creating a mindset in a specific following that likes, shares, and subscribes your things, right? And see, in times like this, when you on a break of World War III, that comes in handy. You know, like I was listening to Candace Owens break down how you got intelligence from overseas.
Like, what y'all think in the comments? I'm looking at the comment section. I never really understood why people don't like Candace Owens. Like, I haven't, like, she's not just stereotypical, like, African-American woman. Like, that's for sure. She's not, you know, but I mean, other than that, I mean, she speaks out for black people. She does a lot of times, you know, and she just preaches education and waking up. You know what I mean? Don't be a slave to certain mentalities that have proven to lead people into being locked up, arrested, in prison, losing your rights. Like, she talks about stuff like that in a different way. So I don't understand why people really don't like her. Somebody said, I like Candace. She's smart. And then Scott said, if he gives up the politicians, let him go. Amazing Trey says, Scott, let Diddy go. Yo. Hey, yo, we're going to talk about Diddy in the next live.
That has a watch list of American citizens.
Barbara Stevens said, I think Candace Owens is awesome. I think she all right. I think she's cool, man. I like her.
That they feel like is a threat to the establishment.
Lorraine Davidson said, because she's an educated black woman with a strong head that's dangerous. That could be what it is. And then Jeffrey Armstrong says she tells it like it is. Marcus Chapman said, I love Candace. Amazing Trey said, being intelligent is not selling out. Exactly.
Because we are using our voice against this war that Kamala Harris and the Biden administration is trying everything in their power to push. And you, my son, being an activist, right? Or better yet, we're not even going to say you were an activist. You was once a fed-up rapper. Sort of like a revolutionary, right? Am I right?
I think my son used to battle rap, too, back in the day.
And somewhere down the line, you being a street dude, a POW, a prisoner of war, an inmate, on Rikers Island turned prisoner that was wrongfully convicted. Now you're running with the district attorney / vice president. We, the streets, we, the people from the streets, we've never seen anything like that before. An inmate, a prisoner, run with a district attorney that used her influence over the police.
Shout out to Amma Mom Magazine. She's a moderator in here. Deontay Kennedy. Oh, he's talking to Amma.
For mass incarceration over your people. And now you running with that. And the same district attorney turned vice president using her influence or using her power to have celebrities influence the people to vote for her when she got some of the most wickedest policies I've ever seen in my life. And here's the thing, right, my son? And to all you other people out there, I use Mike Tyson for an example, right?
Hold on. Y'all want to know what's like real crazy? Let me show y'all this. So Elon Musk ended up like commenting on this. So it says Nancy Pelosi's niece should not be paid $181,643 by the U.S. taxpayers to be a climate advisor at HUD. Nancy Pelosi's niece is about to be paid $181,000. Or that's what she's getting from the government, our tax money. Like, this is crazy. To be an advisor, this is insane, bro. What do y'all think about that? So Elon Musk ends up commenting on it, and he says, but maybe her advice is amazing, and he's laughing like that's crazy. That is literally insane. Like what they be doing with our tax money. That is crazy, bro.
I was listening.
Yeah, amazing Trace. Look at this. Said Nancy Pelosi's niece should not be paid $181,000 by the U.S. taxpayers to be a climate advisor. And it is what it is. This is crazy, bro. This is literally insane. So that, like, I am so glad Elon Musk and Vivek or whatever, they're about to be the Department of Government Efficiency to figure out what is going on. Like all this money, where is it going? See where it's going. Like paying their friends and families, like all of this money is insane, man.
To how somebody was breaking down how Mike Tyson went from...
Yeah, exactly. Scotty Sparks said they're keeping it in the bloodline. And then Scott Belanger said, bet she's got no degree. I don't know if she does or not. Like, but, you know, like, you see what I'm saying? Like, knowing Nancy Pelosi being related to her, it's just crazy, bro. They just playing with our money like that. Stella said she has an agricultural degree. Why not? We are all going to suffer if climaterial not fixed. Elon Musk's terrible choice. All he wants is to grow his influence and money. Elon Musk is doing it for free. Like, I'm not trying to, like, you know, come at you and not like that. I'm just saying, like, he's doing it for free. Like, he's not getting paid for that. And then Lorraine said they made Tim Scott Secretary of Cotton. Tiffany said they're keeping it in house, no pun intended. And then Time said her nephew is Gavin the Rat Newsom, who just bought a $9 million house and $240,000 salary. That's crazy. That is insane, man. I need to get into politics. If they got money like that, like, man.
Almost $600 million. He was close to a billionaire. Reduced to being broke. A few times. He went from hundreds of millions of dollars to being broke. And my whole thing is like this, right? And I'm just using my song right now for an example. I could get to the rest of these celebrities too, like Oprah, like Jay-Z, like Beyonce. You want to know what Candace Owens is doing? Somebody that don't have nowhere near the money as Beyonce and Jay-Z. And see, my son, it's to the point to where that what you got to understand.
I'm going to turn it to subscribers only.
Is we not falling for the banana in the tailpipe no more. We don't want no more book bags. We don't want no more book bags. We don't want no more turkey.
It's hard to talk about Candace Owens because she really don't be doing nothing wrong. I don't know why people don't like her. All right, let's see what they say.
Joe and I went to Mar-a-Lago to meet personally with President-elect Trump.
That he playing music. So.
Mar-a-Lago and kiss his ring.
I mean, it's to the point where the executives are.
He trying to play music.
Million.
What you doing, man? What's up with all this music you playing, DeVory? Come on, bro.
Good bit. And it's going to come.
On Friday, we were given the opportunity to do just that. Joe and I went to Mar-a-Lago to meet personally with President-elect Trump. It was the first time we have seen him in 7 years.
Now, we talked about a lot of issues, including abortion, mass deportation, threats of political retribution against political opponents, and media outlets. We talked about that a good bit. And it's
Amazing Trace said they all feel threatened by Candace. They know she doesn't hold back.
Going to come as no surprise.
But they don't understand. Like, they just making her more and more irrelevant. Like, she already getting like almost 1 million views of video. Like, going at her, like, you're not gonna do anything. Like, people don't understand. Like, people don't understand what they do, bro. Like, if you don't like her, just don't talk about her.
Surprise to anybody who watches this show.
But I get it. Like, I mean, I get people that come at me like all the time. Like, and I'm just like, yo, what is you coming at me? Then I realized, like, okay, they coming at me for clout. You know what I'm saying? I could just, I mean, I don't know, man. Like, but I'm not about to be sitting on my platform like shouting these people out. Man, that ain't gonna happen.
Has watched it over the past year or over the past decade that we didn't see eye to eye on a lot of issues, and we told him so.
Well, but she played a good role because you got to think she influenced a lot of people to vote for Trump. You can see it in her comments. Like, a lot of people say, "Oh, like, I never knew this, I never knew that. Oh, I'm voting for Trump." Like, she influenced a lot of people. You know, that's the power of Candace Owens.
Did agree on was to restart communications. My father often spoke with world leaders with whom he and the United States profoundly disagreed. That's a task shared by reporters and commentators alike.
Okay, so there's only one or two ways to see this, okay, in my personal opinion. Number one, the ratings are so bad that they have no choice but to do something like this. And a lot of people in the media need to get with the program because they know whatever ratings are left for them to obviously leverage and stay alive is going to be in the name of Trump, meaning they're going to have to go through Trump to get those ratings. You know this. And secondly, another way to look at this is maybe Trump is the individual who's saying, hey, you know what? I'm going to be the actual president for all who will make an effort to unify this country. And the best way to do that is to sit down with people that I know hate me.
We had not spoken to President Trump since March of 2020, other than a personal call Joe made to Trump on the morning after the attempt on his life in Butler, Pennsylvania. In this meeting, President Trump was cheerful, he was upbeat, he seemed interested in finding common ground with Democrats on some of the most divisive issues. And for those asking why we would go speak to the president-elect during such fraught times, especially between us, I guess I would ask back, why wouldn't we? 5 years of political warfare has deeply divided Washington and the country. We have been as clear as we know how in expressing our deep concerns about President Trump's actions and words in the coarsening of public debate. But for nearly 80 million Americans, election denialism, public trials, and January 6th were not as important as the issues that moved them to send Donald Trump back to the White House with their vote. Joe and I realize it's time.
These people are so boring, bro. Yeah, they don't understand why the ratings ain't really good. Like, y'all boring, bro. Like, I can't even.
Time to do something different. And that starts with not only talking about Donald Trump, but also talking with him.
All right, so before I give you guys my opinion, let's
see.
Take a look at the numbers. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't. You guys know I always say that. Here is the ratings. All right, it's on adweek.com, which is obviously when you place ads, you're going to be told how many people actually viewed the ad and how many listeners tuned in to the actual show. Now, this is on the weekend. It says MSNBC and CNN once again failed to crack over 500,000 total viewers during prime time or total throughout the entire day. Meanwhile, Fox News saw over 1 million total viewers across both day parts, with the big weekend show leading the way as the most watched program. Now, Morning Joe, okay, for the entire day, if we're talking about the demographic between 25 years old and 50.
Amazing Trey said Diddy's home and he is
4, they come in at 28,000 viewers. Okay, I will get more than 28,000 viewers on this video alone. Okay, now if we go to total viewers, okay, this is all demographics, okay, across the board, they come in at 171,000. Again, I'm going to get more viewers than that. My point is not to be arrogant. My point is that this is a failing.
Nah, you've been being arrogant lately, DeVore. You have, bruh. His channel been going crazy. So he been talking, I get more views than Don Lemon. I get more views. He been talking reckless.
Show at this point, okay? Look at this.
Yo, but wait a minute. But is they real viewers? Like that is kind of crazy though.
Prime time or total throughout the entire day. Meanwhile, Fox News saw over 1 million total viewers across both day parts, with the big weekend show leading the way as the most watched program. Now, Morning Joe, okay, for the entire day.
Sleep the ghost, you funny, bro. He is talking reckless. Now, his views went crazy after, when this election was going on. He is like talking, bro.
If we're talking about the demographic between 25 years old and 54, they come in at 28,000 viewers. Okay, I will get more than 28,000 viewers on this video alone. Okay, now if we go to total viewers, okay, this is all demographics, okay, across the board, they come in at 171,000. Again, I'm going to get more viewers than that. My point is not to be arrogant. My point is that this is a failing show at this point. Okay, look at this. They have 171,000, and the big weekend show from Fox has 1.2 million. There's a difference there, right? Okay, so let's go over some of my opinions.
I mean, that's still like reason. That's kind of decent viewership. Hey, Amazing Trace, it took you that long? Thug Life, Amazing Trace, shout out to you.
Opinions about this. Number one, clearly the key word in all of this is restart communications. Okay, now why would someone want to do that? Well, there's a couple of reasons, obviously, due to ratings. If they can get him on the show, obviously their ratings could go up. Now, I don't think that's really going to make a difference for MSNBC at this point. So maybe the second thing is, and I don't know how likely this is because I can't put it past them. However, it's politics. And I could see this happening because of human behavior, which is maybe they've seen the light. Maybe they know they went too far in their rhetoric. I mean, this is a show, right, that loved Donald Trump. I mean, absolutely loved him before he ran for president. And the fact that Joe actually called him the morning after that first assassination attempt, I think maybe the other component here is just some humans out there are willing to just bite the bullet and come to grips that they were wrong. And maybe that's these people. I don't know, but maybe it's both at the same time. Maybe there's a little bit of them realizing, yeah, we went.
You're boring me right now, DeVore. Shout out to you. Says it's a little boring. That video is a little bit boring, bro. I almost fell asleep. Let's see what he got to say.
Oh boy.
Hey, no, DeVore be getting like crazy views now. Like I don't know, like he must have quit his job or something like while the election was going on. Like, cause dude was just every day. You gotta think, like cause he broke into the algorithm of news. You see what I'm saying? So he took advantage of it. He just kept dropping video after video after video after video. And it worked. Now he got almost 1 million subscribers. Like he got like, I think it was 100,000 subscribers in like 3 days. Not 3. I would say like maybe 4 days. Like that's how fast his channel was going. It's crazy. And me, I got like 30,000 subscribers in like a month. But he was like, his channel was lit, bro.
So over on Alex Jones on Twitter, they're talking about this is unconstitutional what he did, and it's an impeachable offense.
See what he's saying.
Let's check this out here. Man.
Joining us now, Missouri Senator Josh Hawley. Senator, Putin went on the record earlier today, basically said that same thing. Are you concerned this is going to increase the chances?
New Double A content page said, I used to watch Morning Joe faithfully. It got whacked and too biased towards the Democratic side. Insults and unprofessionalism as time went on got catty and whacked.
That he is going to move forward and put those North Korean soldiers, 100,000 of them, to deploy and ratchet this thing up even further.
I am concerned. I'm very concerned. Listen, here's my takeaway. January 20th can't get here fast enough. I mean, what Biden is doing is totally...
Another thing, too, a lot of y'all was like, yeah, if it's World War III, it's over, y'all. Well, it's only over if they use nukes. If they don't use nukes, I think we got a chance of surviving.
reckless, Laura. It is absolutely reckless. And let's not forget, this is a guy who the Democrats...
Yeah, Sleep the Ghost said, I can't believe we shooting missiles at Russia. Yeah, we talked about that yesterday.
Couldn't be trusted, didn't have the capability to run a presidential campaign. And now here he is, potentially leading us down the path to World War III with just weeks to go in his presidency. It is unbelievably reckless and irresponsible. And I
saw something the other day that said
hit the like, stop playing with me, Doug Life. Hit the like button, y'all, if y'all can, man. We gotta get it to this video. Got like 60,000 views. Hit the likes, hit the 100s, hit everything.
Putin said that, like, if
yo, what's up with you, Tyrone Magnus? You've been doing too many videos, bro. Cause you starting to talk mad slow.
That if the United States like gave them weapons to use or something like that, and they use them, that's basically declaring war with us. So
I just can't wait until Trump gets back into office. We've got to make it from now to then, and this policy is a disaster.
I know Putin's got to know. Putin's got to be like, look, I done talked to Donald. He wants just squashed. I see what they're doing. I see what he just did. He's got to be trying to draw us into World War III. Biden's definitely starting something here. Like what's he going to think? You got what I'm saying? I mean, I don't think he should have been over there in the first place, bombing Ukraine. But I'm just saying, like.
Well, a friend of mine described it as it's
What do y'all think in the comment section about this? You can bring it to me. Thanks. The comment section about this whole Ukraine situation and all of that. Thanks, I appreciate you. What do y'all think about this? Because people are saying like Russia started it, but then like I want to show y'all this video, right? I don't know if I can play this. Let me see.
Is not an attack.
Because copyright. Oh, this is on TikTok. I could probably play it. It said, bookmark this, keep this, remember this, watch it often, memorize it, learn it, understand it, grasp it, believe it, and never forget it. Ever. Listen to this. Listen to this.
By Putin on Ukraine. This is not an attack by Putin on Ukraine in the way that we are told every day. This started in 1990. February 9th, 1990, James Baker III, our Secretary of State, said to Mikhail Gorbachev, NATO will not move 1 inch eastward if you agree to German unification, basically ending World War II. And
you guys also hit the super chat if you can too, like that. If you really want me to stop and answer something.
Gorbachev said that's very important. Yes, NATO doesn't move, and we agreed to German unification.
Deontay Kennedy is a member in here. He said he's at an amazing. Said Trace, welcome Thug Life. Well, listen to this, bro. He breaks down. This is what this dude is breaking down. The cause of the Russia and Ukrainian crisis and how the United States played a part. Listen to this, bro. I've never heard anybody break it down like this. Just listen to him, bro.
This is not an attack by Putin on Ukraine in the way that we are told every day. This started in 1990, February 9th, 1990. James Baker III, our Secretary of State, said to Mikhail Gorbachev, NATO will not move 1 inch eastward if you agree to German unification, basically ending World War II. And Gorbachev said, that's very important. Yes, NATO doesn't move, and we agreed to German unification. The U.S. then cheated on this, already starting in 1994, when Clinton signed off on basically a plan to expand NATO all the way to Ukraine. This is when the so-called neocons took power.
Yo, I forgot about that. It's crazy.
And Clinton was the first agent of this. And the expansion of NATO.
OMF GZORZ. It's on my Twitter. Go to my Twitter and it's on there.
Started in 1999 with Poland, Hungary, and Czech Republic. At that point, Russia didn't much care. There was no border other than with the Königsberg, but other than that, there was no direct threat. Then the U.S. led the bombing of Serbia in 1999. That was bad.
Remember that? Like the U.S. led that situation in Serbia? I forgot all about that, bro. Like, yo, this dude is smart. All right, listen. He about to break this down, bro.
Because that was a use of NATO to bomb a European capital, Belgrade, 78 straight days to break the country apart. The Russians didn't like that very much. But Putin became president. They swallowed it. They complained. But even Putin started out pro-European, pro-American, actually asked maybe we should join NATO. When there was still the idea of some kind of mutually respectful relationship. Then 9/11 came, then came Afghanistan, and the Russians said, yeah, we'll support you. We understand to root out terror. But then came 2 other decisive.
Bro, that's true. You remember that?
Actions. In 2002, the United States unilaterally walked out of the anti-ballistic missile treaty. This was probably the most decisive event, never discussed in this context. But what it did was trigger the U.S. putting in missile systems in Eastern Europe that Russia views as a dire, direct threat. In 2004-05, we engaged in a soft regime change operation in Ukraine. But in 2009, Yanukovych won the election and he became president in 2010 on the basis of neutrality for Ukraine.
Now, remember he's saying all of that, all right? Remember, hey, this is reaction. This is like 6 minutes and 36 seconds long. Just remember he said that, right? So I said, they thrive financially when we are in war. Why would they want to continue? It's for money. You know what I'm saying? Somebody said it's crazy. Putin, a real one. He's been supportive of the United States. It's like, if you look outside of the propaganda machines that are out there, like he has been like on low key the side of like supporting us a little bit. You know what I mean? Shout out to him, but listen.
That calmed things down because the U.S. was pushing NATO, but the people of Ukraine on the opinion polls didn't even want to be in NATO. They knew that the country is divided between ethnic Ukrainian, ethnic Russian. What do we want with this? We want to stay away from your problems. So in February 22nd, 2014, the United States participated actively in the overthrow of Yanukovych. A typical U.S. regime change operation, have no doubt about it. And the Russians did us a favor. They intercepted a really ugly call between Victoria Nuland, my colleague at Columbia University now, between her and the U.S. ambassador to Ukraine, Jeffrey Piat, who's a senior State Department official till today. And they talked about regime change. They said, who's going to be the next government? All of this is to say, the U.S. then said, okay, now NATO's really going to enlarge. And Putin kept saying, stop. You promised no NATO enlargement. It's been, by the way, I forgot to mention, in 2004, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Bulgaria, Romania, Slovakia, Slovenia, 7 more countries in the not 1 inch eastward. And then, okay, it's a long story, but the U.S. kept rejecting the basic idea, don't expand NATO to Russia's border in a context where we're putting in goddamn missile systems. After breaking a treaty, 2019, we walked out of the...
I mean, Putin ain't got no choice at this point, bruh. Like, I mean, he a leader. Like, you ain't about to keep, bruh. I don't know. What y'all think? What y'all think in the comment section? Amazing Trey said the importance of peace. Josh said Jesus loves you. Com777 said there was no promise to Russia for NATO expansion. This is a lie. And then OMF said, all right, I'm gonna check it out.
Intermediate Nuclear Force Treaty. On December 15, 2021, Putin put on the table a draft Russia-U.S. security agreement. You can find it online. The basis of it is no NATO enlargement. I called the White House that next week after that, begging them, take the negotiations. Putin's offered something, avoid this war. Oh, Jeff, there's not going to be a war. Announce that NATO's not going to enlarge. Oh, don't worry, NATO's not going to enlarge. I said, oh, you're going to have a war over something that's not going to happen? Why don't you announce them? And he said, no, our policy...
Let's go to the NATO page and see if this is true, right? Like they gonna tell us the truth. But let's go on there to see if this is true. Setting the record straight, Russia's illegal war of aggression against Ukraine has shattered peace and stability in Europe and gravely undermined global security. NATO's strategic concept, adopted in 2022, states that Russia is the most significant and direct threat to allied security, to peace and stability in the Euro-Atlantic areas. Russia wants to establish spheres of influence and control other countries through coercion, subversion, aggression, and annexation. It uses conventional cyber and hybrid means, including disinformation against NATO allies and partners. NATO does not seek confrontation and poses no threat to Russia. The alliance will continue to respond to Russia threats and actions in a united and responsible way. We are strengthening our deterrence and defense, supporting our partners and enhancing our resilience. This includes calling out Russia's actions and countering disinformation. NATO is at war with Russia and Ukraine. Fact, NATO is not at war with Russia and is not party to the war Russia is waging on Ukraine. NATO supports Ukraine and its rights to self-defense as enshrined in the UN Charter. We do not seek confrontation with Russia. In response to Russia's aggressive actions, we continue to strengthen our deterrence and defense to make sure there is no room for misunderstanding. I mean, but y'all going ahead and y'all telling them, right, that they can launch You know what I mean? Well, Biden like authorized that they can launch long-range missiles into. I don't know, man, but you know, we on the NATO website. All right, so this is it, right? So NATO promises Russia it would not enlarge after the Cold War. Fact: the myth that there was a promise by Western leaders not to allow new members to join has been circulating for many years, and so why does they got an X on it? Circulating for many years and is actively used in disinformation campaigns by the Kremlin since the start of the Russian war against Ukraine. While records show that in the initial stages of discussion about German reunification, U.S. Secretary of State James Baker and a West German counterpart, Hans Greshner, floated such an idea with each other and with Soviet leaders in 1990, but diplomatic negotiations quickly moved on and the idea was dropped. NATO's founding treaty, signed in 1949 by the 12 original members and by every country that has joined since, including a clear provision that opens NATO's doors to any other European state in a position to further the principles of the treaty and to contribute to the security of the North Atlantic area. This has never changed. No treaty signed by NATO allies and Russia ever included provisions that NATO cannot take on new members. Decisions on NATO membership are taken by consensus among allies. Describing NATO's open door policies as expansion is already part of the myth. NATO did not seek out new members or aim to expand eastward. NATO respects every nation's right to choose its own path. NATO membership is a decision first for those countries that wish to join. It is then for NATO allies to consider the application. What do y'all think about that? What do y'all think about that? Well, we hear what he's saying, but what do y'all think about that?
Is an open door.
I mean, NATO not gonna be like Russia's rights. You know what I'm saying? They're not gonna do all that, you know, but they calling cat. I'm just, you know what I mean? I gotta read both sides. Or at least read one side, listen to the other side. I don't know, man. Me personally, I'm not believing the government on nothing. That's me. You know what I mean? But they're saying that it's not true. See what I'm saying?
This is Jake Sullivan. Our policy is an open door policy. Open door for NATO enlargement. That is under the category of bullshit, by the way. You don't have your right.
Bro, like, just, you don't have to say bad words, bro.
To put your military bases anywhere you want and expect peace in this world. They turned down the negotiations. Then the special military operation started. And 5 days later, Zelensky says, okay, neutrality. And then the United States and Britain said, no way. You guys fight on. We got your back. We don't have your front. You're all going to die. But we got your back as we kept pushing them into the front lines. That's 600,000 deaths now of Ukrainians since Boris Johnson flew to Kyiv to tell them to be brave.
What do y'all think about that? Yo, I don't know, man.
Biden or whoever is making this call, and you wonder who is mining the political and military landscape to cause trouble for Trump. However, he just met with Trump. Is there any possibility that he and Trump talked about this? Not that Trump would be in favor of this, but it's a chess move to get Putin to the table? Or do you think that's just probably not likely?
Well, it looks like escalation to me, Laura. It looks like a green light for escalation on the part of Ukraine. And then Russia, as you pointed out, what would happen if Russia would launch and retaliate missiles into the territory of a NATO member? Then our treaty obligations would be triggered. Then we're talking about a full-scale war. I can't imagine that President Trump
is mining the political and military landscape to cause trouble for Trump. However, he just met with Trump. Is there any possibility that he and Trump talked about this? Not that Trump would be in favor of this, but it's probably kind of a chess move to get Putin to the table? Or do you think that's just probably not likely?
Well, it looks like escalation to me, Laura. It looks like a green light for escalation on the part of Ukraine, and then Russia, as you pointed out. What would happen if Russia would launch and retaliate missiles into the territory of a NATO member? Then our treaty obligations would be triggered. Then we're talking about a full-scale war. I can't imagine that President Trump wants that. He's been totally against it. Whatever.
I told y'all, as much as he said he's going to try to stop these wars, they could try to force his hand in some form or fashion.
They're trying to make the biggest messes they can before Trump gets in there.
Sure, he wants it.
Because I think they know when Trump gets in there, he's going to try to stop like all of this is going on. Because you got Vladimir Putin saying he already wants to talk to Trump. War brings money. Brings a lot of it. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of different people interested in war. You know, and it's very interesting that they say, oh, the world's going to be, you know, America is in danger if Trump gets elected. And then look who's authorizing Ukraine to go ahead and use long-range missiles. Biden. Insane.
Biden to stop screwing this up and allow him to get into office and begin to work towards America's security interests. Let's remember what our interests in the region are. It's our national security. That's what we
remember this next election. Remember what they doing now for the next election.
I wonder what all the people on the left that love Biden so much. I wonder what they're thinking.
I wonder what they're thinking right now.
Should Kamala have won? I'm wondering what they're thinking right now.
First, and giving a green light to shoot missiles into Russia, that's not putting our interests first, it's putting them last.
It's insane. Do you think Biden made this call? Is he the one who came up with this idea?
A lot of people are saying no.
Calls. I think it's other people,
a lot of people
within the
said no.
deep state who want this conflict to go on.
Yo, this video got like 80,000 views. Hit the like button, y'all. Y'all can.
I think that's what's going on here.
Yeah, trying to prevent Trump from actually being able to, pull out of the situation. Exactly. That's what they did in Afghanistan to him. Senator, as always, thank you so much.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to.
Jeez. Let's check this out here.
It's crazy, man.
Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky is optimistic about the future with President-elect Trump returning to the White House. Here he is.
Why does Zelensky always look like just some dude? Like
he looked mad regular.
For years, I saw a picture. I didn't know who he was. I thought I didn't know who he was.
He be wearing like regular shirts and everything.
І ще раз підкреслюю, з політикою цієї команди, яка зараз очолить Білий дім, війна закінчиться швидше. Це їх підхід, це їх обіцянка їх суспільству. І для них це також дуже важливо.
The Wall Street Journal editorial board writes, left unsaid by the White House is that Mr. Biden is trying to strengthen Ukraine's position before he leaves office. Mr. Biden would like to fortify Ukraine by delivering all of the munitions Congress approved in its most recent aid package. The tragedy is that Mr. Biden has hamstrung Ukraine on the delivery and the usage of advanced weapons for so long. In focus now, Mike Huckabee, former Arkansas governor and the Trump administration ambassador to Israel nominee. Great to see you. Let's start right now with this idea that Biden's about to do this as he leaves office. And what does that mean for incoming policy? And
yo, that is so crazy, bruh.
Affects the whole world.
It really does, Harris. It's a little unusual that a president in his lame duck days of ending his reign as president would make major policy shifts. It just doesn't really ring as to why would he do this.
He needs to be
Is it
investigated.
to somehow hamstring or make it difficult for the Trump administration? I don't know. But it's not a good look, and it's not a good act on his part. And I'm hoping that maybe he'll back off. If he does anything, he should find out what the Trump administration will be doing and try to make sure that he helps accommodate that. That's what we would have in a what I would call a peaceful.
It's like Zelensky's always doing casual Fridays. Like, I don't get it, but he doesn't have to be in the suit, but he always throws me off.
Yeah, listen to Emma. Double tap the screen.
and also a
Dawn Sankati said for their social engineering. Abra, she's a subscriber. This person's a subscriber. Oh, Gracia. Hold on. Let me see if I can read what she's saying. I think you got like a couple things said. These are the three agreements. Number one, until Soviet forces had completed their withdrawal from the former GDR, only German territory defense units not integrated into NATO would be deployed. And then he said, number two, there will be no increase in the number of troops or equipment of U.S., British, and French forces stationed in Berlin. Number three, once Soviet forces had withdrawn, German forces assigned to NATO could be deployed in the former GDR, but foreign forces and nuclear weapon systems would not be deployed.
a smooth transition.
Oh, interesting. So, Biden had the president
Kim Jong-un,
the White House
got
last week. They spent like almost 2
John,
hours together.
he got his suit.
And the length of that meeting alone would lead you to think that maybe this came up. This action was decisive by Biden. Make no mistake about it. And this is what needed to have from generals and other military experts that you and I both talked to. This is what needed to happen in the early days against Russia, not 1,000 days later. So legacy point, is it that? And what does this do for Biden? Because I have to think that's at play here.
It very well could be, and probably
Shout out to Beautiful
is,
2047.
But I again go to the point that we don't need to have a major policy shift right now about a month and a half before President Trump is sworn in, and then turn around and have a different policy shift as soon as the inauguration is over. There needs to be some consistency and continuity. I hope
And
that
nobody's going to remember this going into the next election. Nobody's going to remember that Biden did this.
if they did talk about it, that this is all in line with that. I wasn't privy to that conversation. I thought it was a good conversation. And the fact that they spent that much time together in a very civil manner was, to me, a great testament for going forward. But I do have great concerns that something might be done either here or at the UN that would make it more difficult for President Trump to get going on his agenda.
Yeah, it sounds like those Democrat governors across the United States, we'll get into that a little bit later in the show, but yeah, there's a lot of pushback, anti-Trump still moving. And Israeli strike, missile strike.
Dude's trying to keep us out of wars.
And Democrats
They
are trying to
still
bring
call him
us...
Hitler. What the hell is wrong
Yeah, and then Democrats are trying to put us in one.
with these people? Like, yo, I'm watching both sides, but the amount of lies coming out of the left, I don't know what the hell is wrong with them. I just don't get it. Good Lord, man.
Listen.
NBC News has confirmed.
Let me show y'all this. Hold on real quick.
NBC News has confirmed President Biden will now allow Ukraine to strike inside Russia with long-range missiles. This marks a significant policy shift, and it comes after Biden officials condemned the North Korean deployment of troops to Russia as a possible expansion of the war.
Another meeting in the near future between you.
Could very well happen, but I think the president said it the best. This is a war that should have never happened. It should have never happened, and it wouldn't have happened. It's a shame, but this is a war that should have never happened, and we'll get it solved. It's a complicated puzzle, very complicated puzzle, but we'll get it solved, and people get on with their lives. Too many people dead. Too many beautiful cities. I've seen those cities are so beautiful, and they, I don't know how you can ever rebuild them the way they were. It's not possible.
You have to call by the way, to see us.
I will. It's a beautiful
Look
country.
how everybody be rocking with Trump, bro. Are we gonna act like we don't see this? Like Vladimir Putin, like all these people, they like cool with him. Hit the like button. We got 1,000 viewers in here. Shout out to Obey Jesus. Yeah, but they be rocking with Trump, bro. It be like the Democrats, man. They be starting trouble, bro.
Beautiful weather, beautiful everything, but we have to
What's
get
up,
this
King
over.
Fire?
It's a war, and the president agrees. This is a war that should have never happened. Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, so the topic is Biden authorizing the missiles to strike Russia a smart move? What do you guys
Definitely not.
Definitely not. Not at all.
He said
Military
failure and sabotaging him.
Wait, say that again. You went out.
He's setting
Hey,
Trump
should we all do this? Like, have like a panel or something? What y'all think?
up for failure
Invite y'all up and we can all like do this. I don't know.
and sabotaging him before he gets into office.
Why do you think so?
Why would you do that? After he already spoke with Zelensky and saying that he wants peace, a peaceful transfer of power, basically initiating World War III isn't a smooth transition of power.
Exactly.
Okay, anybody else?
Exactly.
Y'all really
I
want to
do.
talk about the transition?
Absolutely not. He's making
First of all-
Trump look.
Wait, one mic.
He's making Trump look like a hero. There's a dumb political move. Nobody on the left is saying there's a great job, Mr. Biden. He's actually setting up Trump to look like a hero, because if he escalates the war 1 month into the 1 month to Trump to get actually the position, and Trump literally fixed that, nobody. Putin knows that he's 1 month away from actually talking with Trump. He's not going to escalate the war 15 days before the transition. He's going to.
But they're trying to force his hand, man. Like, all right, Ukraine, y'all can send long range, and bro, once they start hitting his cities, bro, Putin got a right to do whatever he want to do at that point.
Wait, and then he's going to talk with Trump about it. So actually, this is a dumb move for everybody, because nobody wants war, and it looks petty. Usually people, especially Democrats, are not known as the petty party, and they're actually playing a dangerous game.
You just said Putin wasn't going to escalate, but he escalated last night. My man launched 200 missiles at the Ukraine last night.
Nothing new. This has been on it for 3 years. Nothing
But
new
that's
under the sun.
how are we escalating if they're already fighting? It's just a war. That's
It's
just a
irrelevant.
war.
It's irrelevant. The United States funds war all the time, every time. The United States actually funds terrorist groups to fight proxy wars. This war is more of the usual. Under the Democrats and the Republicans, war is always going to be something, because the government works.
Yeah, Emma, you're right. You can't always control what people say on the panel, because you get people up here and they just start talking. You know what I mean? Yeah, you're
for
right.
a certain group of people that is not y'all. So respectfully, this is nothing new. This is all business as usual. It's just a dumb political move, because you are setting Trump to actually be a hero in the end of the day by doing this.
Do you think that he's doing that on purpose?
Like what Biden should have did, right? He should have all the way stepped down. How you gonna how does this even make sense? Kamala Harris is running for president, but you didn't fully step down as president. So she running for president while you the president. He should have just stepped down. That would have been more favorable, for him. If he would have, the first woman president could have been Kamala Harris. I don't think she should be the president, but I'm just saying, it would have been better for him to do that than to be doing this. Dude is wilding.
Absolutely, he's petty. I'm out, so let me try to push as much things as possible before I leave. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody disagree with Fatty?
I don't think it's going to make him look like a hero. I think he's trying to set him up to fail.
Yeah, he is.
War is inevitable right now. They launched 200 missiles at them. Now they have permission to launch our MGM-140s back at them. So that is going to escalate the war.
Mm-hmm.
But the war was already escalated. We gave them $70 billion in equipment over the last 2 years. That's ridiculous. $70 billion. So no matter what happened, the war is going to happen. Now you got China buying oil from Iran and sending more weapons to Russia. That whole situation is nasty. Everybody's involved in it. North Korea is sending troops to Russia. So you can say it's an escalation, but it's already escalated to the point where it's just going to be bad no matter what.
It's funny that we sit here talking. This shit happened in less than 4 years.
Yeah.
In less than 4 years, we are practically at World War III.
We're not at World War III right now, but he's pushing it. But we're not there yet.
This shit is insane.
Yo, I gotta stop watching him because he won't stop cussing.
I'm proud of.
Come on, black conservatives, get it together, man. Stop. You ain't gotta be hood all the time.
I'm proud of my country.
Let's listen to Rita real quick.
Of unhinged, and then proceeds to act like she's unhinged.
Completely unhinged. I went to the grocery store, and while standing in line, I was trying to guess who voted against my rights. And I couldn't guess anymore.
What rights is they talking about? Like, can somebody help me out? Like, what rights? Who are voting against their rights?
Was out of guesses. I was out of guesses because you're like sheep in wolf's clothing. And I just wanted to scream.
These people are insufferable, and it's wolf in sheep's clothing, not sheep in wolf's clothing. If nursery rhyme themes confuse you, it might explain why you're a lefty. And this next lass thinks she's brave and profound, but personally, I find her a little sad and scary.
Yeah, Jay Sweet. It's just that, like, if them dudes, like, they trying to take themselves serious. Like, I don't understand why they cannot control. Like, that is so annoying to me. Like, because I try to have my show to where, like, you can listen and watch me anywhere. You know what I mean? I don't want you to have to, like, be having headphones in. Like, I want you to be able to watch me anywhere, you know? But these people, they just cannot stop. And then, like, when you are a content creator, like, if you saying bad words, like, you can get limited monetization for that particular video. So it's like, why even risk that? You see what I'm saying? Like, I don't get, just because you want to feel cool, or maybe you don't have words to say. Like, maybe your vernacular is not that vast. I don't know what it is, but it's just so annoying. And then I'm getting older, man. I don't want to hear bad words all day.
How's this for a motivational phrase? Our resistance will be talked about for generations.
But Joshua, right? He said abortion rights. How are they being taken away? Go to whatever state that's going to allow you to do that. If that's what you want to do. He's just getting the federal government out the way. Like, they can still do it. Like, that, he didn't stop it. Like, you can still do it in whatever state. Now he's giving the power back to the states. So, like, if she's just so in love with doing something like that, she can go into whatever state that's happening in. You know what I'm saying?
Terrifying.
Yeah, she is funny, bro. I love Rita.
Nursery rhyme themes confuse you. It might explain why you're a lefty. And this next lass thinks she's brave and profound, but personally, I find her...
Yeah, amazing traits. Yeah, be inventive. Like, use a different word. Like, so annoying. That's why I can't take people serious when they want to just say bad words all day.
A little sad and scary.
How's this for a motivational phrase? Our resistance will be talked about for generations.
Terrifying. Now, continuing the Trump derangement syndrome theme, let's check in on this young lass who identifies as a lad and decided to get the testosterone molecule tattooed on her neck to resist Donald Trump.
Life is worth living.
Hey, Emma, I see you in the comments. Emma, that's common sense. A lot of people don't have common sense, unfortunately. But Emma, that's I rock with that comment, Emma. She said they should use it. You see what I'm saying?
Real men don't need to get testosterone molecules tattooed prominently on their bodies because, you know why? They've got that XY chromosome. We all have testosterone, but us ladies are lacking the Y, and no amount of ink is going to change that. Now to a young lady who thought she was going to be a fixture in the White House. This is the 23-year-old daughter of Tim and Gwen Walls, Hope Walls.
This country does not deserve Kamala Harris. That woman should go live her best life wherever she wants, doing whatever she wants, because we don't deserve her at this point.
I agree with
Yeah, that one leg guy said, I think your subscriber said, common sense is not so common anymore. Yeah, they're trying to use that, I'm going to say a word, as a contraceptive. Like, that's, you know what I mean? Like, try to prevent it. Like,
With that,
they don't want to do that.
America doesn't deserve Kamala. It deserves a lot better, and that's why they voted for Donald Trump, and they're getting better with Trump and Vance. It's good when we can all agree, isn't it? Now, listeners' hope walls are like all lefties losing. It shows she's full of hate and loathing while claiming to be all about love and tolerance.
These people have to live in their own skin, as in JD Vance and Donald Trump have to be JD Vance and Donald Trump. And that is not a punishment I would wish upon anybody except those two individuals. Yeah, so I'm just really grateful that I am who I am and that I'm on the side of love and hope and joy and progress.
Oh, gosh. She's not new to activism. Journalist Andy No reports that during the deadly BLM Antifa...
Hold on, she got one. I kind of want to watch, but I don't have the license to play SNL. Well, let me see. I'm not going to play the SNL part, but let me see what she's saying. Shout out to her.
Kamala would win the election, and like lefties losing it everywhere, he prefers to blame misinformation, also known as facts he doesn't like. Watch this meltdown. It is
facts he doesn't
delicious.
And that's directly tied to misinformation. You know, they don't like Trump, but, you know, they're thinking, well, do we really
pick up more votes this time than he did in 2016?
Pardon me?
Did Donald Trump pick up more votes this time than he did in 2016?
All right, Bay Area Crypto with a 4.99 said, "What's up? I actually didn't vote, but I agree. We said with Trump, but I can't vote. Hold on, my bad. My eyes are getting bad. I can't vote for any president that is puppet and send our money outside the U.S."
Yeah,
or
but
in
not
2020?
that he picked up in 2020, the most relevant last election. He picked up about the same.
I think what I'm saying is that both sides can say things like this, like misinformation. It's hard to quantify
If you don't let me make my points, why do you have me on?
No, we love it. It's a conversation. It's spirited. I think there's a little bit of a delay.
We're done.
I
you
think
won't
we'd
let
love...
me talk. What's the point?
Are you
the expert or am I the expert?
He's the expert. Did you hear him? Imagine saying that during an interview while you discuss why you got it so wrong. We've heard the lefty meltdowns from the usual suspects on MSNBC, CNN, ABC, CBS, all of them. They're blaming sexism and racism.
What's up, Fancy?
They should all take some sage words of advice from a fellow lefty, Charles Barkley, the former NBA star, gives Democrats some sensible guidance, which they'll no doubt ignore.
He's the president of the United States, and I wish him nothing but the best. But we lost. And I just want to say this to the Democrats, which I'm an independent who voted Democratic. Do me this favor. Shut the up. When you win, you get to say what you want to. When you lose, you need to shut the up. We still haven't solved the immigration problem, have no viable answers, never addressed.
So why are you a Democrat? Be whatever you want, but like, this is what bothers me, right? Him, Stephen A. Smith, people like that. It's like y'all go all out to show like your solitude for being a Democrat, right? I guess like a lot of black people feel like Democrat is written on the birth certificate. Like, I don't know. I don't feel like that, but you know, in the hood, you know what I mean? People be feeling like that for whatever reason. If they're not making sense, why like give them your vote? You even had like when Sean Hannity was talking to Stephen A. Smith, and Stephen A. Smith kept it real. Like, yo, the Democrats, like, they're out of touch with different things. Like, then why are you giving them your vote? Like, that don't make sense.
Inflation, bringing all these stupid stars out to rally the vote. What was that? You guys lost because y'all stupid.
Yes, you guys lost because you're stupid, and so your policy is like supporting confused kids having puberty blockers and irreversible surgeries. Here is comic Rob Schneider schooling a young lefty who's losing it about the absurdity of so-called gender-affirming care.
I just want to bring up the issue with trans in schools.
Jay Sweet said, but they hide as independent. Makes no sense, actually.
I do think children should be allowed to have that knowledge.
And then Bay Area said, we got to understand that we're voting for a U.S. president not Israel or Ukraine. So I'd rather give my money to vets, people in need here, than Israel or Ukraine.
If they want to transition on what they want to do.
If I have a boy and he thinks he's a pirate, do I have?
But I'm not independent because, like, they're never gonna win. They're never gonna win. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm not. You know, I mean, I could say I'm independent, but I mean, I don't know, man. I'm for whatever. I mean, I voted for Obama. You know what I mean? I voted for Obama. I voted for Trump, and I voted for Trump again. You know, so I'm just whatever. Like, I feel like you're gonna do at that time. You know, and you know, with Obama, there was things I didn't like about him, like the healthcare thing that he tried to do. Like, I didn't like that if you already couldn't afford healthcare, but then if you don't have it, then you got to pay like a fine, like at the end of the year, like when you do your taxes and all of that. It's things I didn't like, but interest rates was low under Obama. And then I feel like Trump did inherit, you know, like some positives from the Obama economy. I felt like that, but Trump maintained it up until COVID hit, you know, so I don't know.
The right to cut off his knee and take an eye out and give him an eye patch?
But I'm not independent. I'm just whatever. You know what I mean? But I think now, like, I'm leaning my ideals. I don't like identity politics. Like, I don't like that. I think that's kind of insane. And then now, like, look at what the Democrats are doing, like with this whole Ukraine Russia situation. Like, I can't rock with them right now.
To get to that certain point.
A certain point? Like, what's the point where I can cut off my son's knee and say, because he thinks he's a pirate?
I think that's purely between the parent and the child.
Well, I don't think a parent should be allowed to do that.
You should have the option to go be educated and then still go and make the choice that you want to make.
Okay, not at 14. If you are under 25 years old, they don't even let you rent a car in this state.
Yeah, exactly.
What does Avis, Enterprise, and Hertz know that the medical establishment seems so blissfully ignorant about? You are not.
You can't even buy like beer unless you're over 21. Like, why are you allowing like people like under that to make life-altering decisions that can't be taken back?
Good decision maker at 14. You turn 18, you cut off any part you want, and I hope that you don't.
You know, this segment proves the left are ripe for mocking. Comedians should have no shortage of material, but the overwhelming majority are too gutless or just too ideological to tackle the many issues the left present them, but not this next group.
Happy Pride!
Mom, Dad, I told you I have a girlfriend. I'm straight.
Sweetheart. Carol! No son of mine will be straight.
Sweetheart, I know that you are young and you are confused and all your little perverted friends on the internet have told you that being straight is cool. But the first day of Pride is not the time.
You are not my son. All my life I've pictured myself sitting on the couch with my son watching The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and you've taken that from me!
No, you know what? No one can take that from you. He is in there somewhere. Our son is somewhere inside of that golf-playing, beer-drinking demon. Look at her in the eyes. She does not deserve you.
Look at Lady Gaga!
Today is the first day of Pride. I have made you this cake. Your grandmother is downstairs, and she has bought you a new mesh crop top. You will wear it today with a smile on your face.
Great skit and much funnier than what Saturday Night Live comes up with nowadays. Did you catch their latest one?
I can't. She got a different license than me. I can't like play Saturday Night Live. Shout out to her though. Let's see what the dog Piers Morgan is talking about.
I got bad news for you. They don't have a monopoly on stupid. You wear Queers for Palestine t-shirts and masks 2 years after the pandemic ended. And you can't define woman, I mean person who menstruates.
Exactly. Whatever the prescription should ultimately be, the diagnosis is surely crystal clear. Trump has made commanding inroads with working class voters, black voters, Latino voters, urban voters, and young voters. It's a veritable rainbow coalition of disaffected people who the Democrats have traditionally relied upon and more recently taken for granted. So what drove them away? Was it government-funded operations to transgender illegal aliens? Was it prioritizing SNL and 60 Minutes over Joe Rogan and Theo Von? Was it the warm embrace of Liz Cheney and a hawkish, even conservative stance on the wars in Israel and Ukraine? Was it gaslighting America into believing Joe Biden was so sharp he could slice concrete and then ousting him for a simply dreadful candidate in Kamala Harris? Maybe it was all of the above, delivered with a customary liberal serving of supreme self-confidence and the firm belief that everyone who disagrees with them is a moron or a bigot. But joining me for an uncensored battle for the heart and soul of the Democratic Party, the host and founder of the Young Turks, Cenk Uygur, presidential historian and pollster Professor Alan Lichtman, Democrat influencer Harry Sisson, and author...
Yo, people really listen to this dude. Hey, he got like regular headphones now. Remember he used to have like the little AirPods?
...of New Prize for These Eyes, a senior political analyst at Fox News, Juan Williams. Well, welcome to all of you. Juan, in particular, a long time since I've spoken to you. Great to have you, I think, making your debut on Uncensored, so thank you very much. This is Blue on Blue.
Yo, is that Larry Elder?
Chaps, so you can rip into each other to your heart's content, and hopefully out of it we may get some form of consensus over certain ways that the Democrats could go. Juan, let me start with you. When you look at the election and you look at the thumping win Trump got and who he won it with, do you think this whole campaign by the Democrats to portray him as racist, sexist, transphobic, Islamophobic, a Nazi, blah, 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 did they just over-egg the devilment souffle and just in the end play into his hands?
Well, I think they thought, based on the numbers, that this was going to be an effective form of attack, and I think it was for the base of the party. But I think that there were a lot of people who were attracted to other parts of Trump, and I think the whole macho man thing, it worked. You know, you were talking about a rainbow coalition. No, it wasn't a rainbow coalition, but I think that you saw white men still go big for Trump. You saw the Latino men. And I think that's the big story of the election. Latino men suddenly went towards Trump, and there were some black men. I think it was a male thing, and I think, again, the idea that he said offensive.
In my personal opinion, I feel like men feel attacked in America. That's what I think. And I think men are tired of feeling like that. And I think, like we're being targeted. I feel like we're being targeted, bro. Like people are tired of that. And then the censorship, it's a lot of reasons why people went ahead and went with Trump, bro. But my opinion, men felt attacked, bro.
Vulgar things about women, the fact that he is, and, says he wants to be an authoritarian. That's all true. But I think a lot of the men said, you know what, we like it.
Yeah, I think that's right. And I mean, Professor Lichtman, you correctly forecast the result of 9 of the past 10 US presidential elections, but not this one. Like most pollsters, I have to say, very, very few people predicted a big win, other than I might, if I may be so modest, I did. I went on Fox News 10 days before with Brian Kilby and said, I think he's going to win big. But actually, most people thought we'd be incredibly tight and it could go either way and so on. But it wasn't that at all. Why do you think Trump is so difficult to poll? Which is clearly the conclusion I would draw from this.
Well, I am forthrightly willing to admit I missed this election. I still think I actually had 10 out of 10 before. I think I was right about 2000, but we're not here to litigate that. I still think it's a pretty good record. Now, I think 2 things are operating here. Number one, I was incredibly critical at the time of the spineless, cowardly Democrats openly and viciously trashing their elected president and their elected nominee right out there in the open. I have never seen that before, and I've studied American politics.
Phil C said, grow a pair. Caleb said, we're related to being targeted by the media just like Trump is. Most men went toward Trump. Yeah, I mean, even a lot of women went for Trump too. Fancy Hoker said, and then people are saying this, right? Amazing Trace. Look, a lot of people are saying, oh, well, Trump, he's becoming president, and we look at his cabinet, there's no black people in it. I mean, I personally, that's not bothering me. It's like maybe he just like the people he felt like was really qualified. You know what I mean? Like he went with. Like, you know, all this, like, I don't know, man. Just because you black, you get all these positions. I mean, I ain't really mad at it, bro. I ain't mad at his cabinet.
Founding, and that tainted any nominee. And they're now taking no responsibility for that. They're blaming everybody else. Until they look in the mirror, the Democratic Party is going to be in trouble. Secondly, why did my keys miss? Because my keys are based upon the proposition that a pragmatic, rational electorate decides whether or not the White House party is governed well enough to get 4 more years. That was exploded this time by a new wave of disinformation that we've never seen before, in addition to the usual sources of disinformation. We had a huge change this time, a 300 billionaire, a guy who's richer than most countries of the world, who controls X, spreading vast disinformation. According to reports,
what did he share that was disinformation? What is you talking about, old dude, bro? Come on.
Billions upon billions of viewers saw his disinformation. People have a completely distorted view of the economy.
What was the disinformation? Okay,
inflation is going
let me pin
up.
you down on that, though. You say Elon Musk was spreading disinformation. Like what?
Yes. He is spreading vast disinformation that's sunk in. Even people who think their own financial situation is pretty good think inflation is going up when it's been cut by 75%, that unemployment
but it's still
is
inflation.
a near high when
It's
it's
still inflation,
near
Professor.
a low.
On that point, see, it's interesting. You would say that's disinformation, but the point is that inflation is still not zero. Therefore, prices are still going up. Therefore, people...
The only way you get inflation to zero is with a recession.
Yeah, but here's my point.
Obviously.
Here's my point. Yeah, but here's my point. Democrats kept telling the American people rather arrogantly, I thought, you know, the economy's in really good shape. Meanwhile, inflation still exists. In other words, prices have continued to go up and up and up, albeit not at the same rate they were going up. But if it wasn't zero, and it wasn't, it was like 2.5% or whatever by the end.
Bro, like it reached like upwards of like 7%. You know what I mean? And it's down, but it's still not like low, you know? Like what's the disinformation? I'm trying to figure out.
That is still inflation. So it's not disinformation to say
the only
Americans
way
are
you
still
get it
suffering
to
inflation.
Zero is a recession, is deflation. That's ridiculous. Inflation has been cut by 80%, but it's not just inflation that people are wrong about.
But do you accept inflation means prices are still...
Bro, you guys raised, like, what are you talking about? You raised, like, the inflation was raised to, like, almost 7%. If you cut 80% from 7%, like, it's still, like, what is you saying, bro? Y'all raised the Get him, Piers Morgan, bro. Get this dude, bro.
The economy.
Do you accept prices were still going up?
Of course.
Right, so
they
that's
always
the point.
do, unless you have a recession.
That's not disinformation,
That's ridiculous.
then, is it? By Elon Musk,
and it's
that isn't
disinformation about every other aspect of the economy as well. Disinformation about undocumented immigrants, like they're the bloodthirsty killers. They are the most law-abiding segment of our society, according to numerous studies, including by the Libertarian Cato Institute.
Bro, we got Venezuelan gangs in Nashville, Tennessee right now, bro. Like, so what you saying?
They commit crimes, including violent crimes, less than half of that of Native Americans. And they don't drain our economy. They are the mainstay of the agricultural, construction, personal service, hospitality industries. Studies show you will drive the economy into a recession if you go through large-scale deportation of immigrants, and you will sweep it huge numbers of U.S. citizens because all the databases used to identify undocumented immigrants.
Caleb, you said it. He said, no, they aren't. They aren't legal citizens. That's an automatic offense.
Are fundamentally flawed. You can't have a pragmatic electorate under these conditions, and the mainstream media is utterly feeble. It spends 20 times more time on meaningless polls within the margin of error than it does telling truth to power and indicating the consequences of this election.
But it is
it's
okay.
being taken over by billionaires.
Okay, I'm going to come to Cenk. I mean, Cenk, the biggest deporter in American presidential history was Barack Obama, who deported over 3 million people. This idea that Trump is going to become some outlier in terms of mass deportation. The great mass deporter was actually a Democrat president, Obama, by a long way, by the way. So this idea of like disinformation, I think some of it was disinformation, but it's, I think the idea that this...
Hit the super chat if you can, but Tier 1 Protective Solutions said they still think we are not smart. Exactly.
Election was only won through right-wing disinformation. I'm afraid, I view that as a total delusion by the Democrats. Again.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I'm sorry, but I totally disagree with Juan and Professor Lichtman. Don't blame the voters. I think, look, we could get into this discussion, but Juan, I think you're blaming the voters. I think that's a terrible idea. And look, I debated Professor Lichtman before. I told him his theories about the keys were absurd. I was right. He was wrong. I said he'd lose his keys.
No, you were
couldn't
not
find
right,
him
and
before
I
the
was
election.
not wrong, and that's a cheap shot, and I won't stand for it.
Yo, what? Yo, this dude, wow.
I told him his theories about the keys were absurd. I was right. He was wrong. I said he'd lose his keys.
No, you were
couldn't
not
find
right,
him
and
before
I
the
was
election.
not wrong, and that's a cheap shot, and I won't stand for it.
Well, who won, brother?
You should not be
Who
taking
won?
cheap
Who
shots
won?
at me.
Who
You
won?
want to make your
You
point,
live
make your
in a
point.
total
Don't make it
world of
personal.
denial.
I read your own followers' comments, and they all trashed you, every one of them, and supported me.
Yeah,
so
right,
with
right.
your personal
Yeah,
attacks.
come find out again.
Make whatever
Okay.
point you want.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't
Look,
make it
you
personal.
don't know anything. You don't know
You
anything.
attacked me
You
personally.
You're so deluded.
Oh, right. I've only been a professor for 51 years.
On this program,
published
I've never been
13
able
books.
to finish a
How
thought.
many books have you published? No, because you're personally
Yeah.
attacking me again. Say whatever you want, but I'm not going to stand for
brother,
personal
you got it
attacks.
wrong.
Say
you were
whatever you want.
preposterously and stupidly wrong. So, okay, all right. Can I just
Don't
finish
call
a
me
goddamn thought
stupid.
ever on this show?
No, not if
He
you're...
didn't call you stupid. He said you were stupidly wrong. Shout out to Chad Anchor with the $2 donation. He said, ignorance, feigning intelligence. Dude is derpy.
attacking me again. Say whatever you want, but I'm not going to stand for
brother,
personal
you got it
attacks.
wrong.
Say
you were
whatever you want.
preposterously and stupidly wrong. So, okay, all right. Can I just
Don't
finish
call
a
me
goddamn thought
stupid.
ever on this show?
No, not if you're
Okay,
personally
well,
I
you proved
admitted
it.
I was wrong. I don't need you to call me stupid.
Okay.
Can I just say,
What
it's
kind
great
of
to see
nonsense
you
is that?
Democrats
Yeah, I
all
know.
getting
Who
along
taught
so
you
well.
manners?
It's lovely to
You're
see a
just one. Can I
post-election
finish your
harmony as you all
goddamn
come
point?
together
We're
again.
just one
Alan,
right now.
shh. Hey, Alan, you deserve a tall glass of shut-up juice, so can you just shut up for a second and let someone who knows what
Not
they're
if
doing...
You
talk?
see how them Democrats talk?
Personally
Piers,
attack
you're
me.
so right.
So-
We're so
Make any
unified right
point
now. It's
you
great.
want.
So-
I will not sit here and stand
So-
for personal attacks, for blasphemy against me. You don't need to do that. You don't boost your
Blasphemy
ego
against
by
you? Who the hell are
attacking
you?
me
Are you
like that.
Jesus
Just
Christ,
make
you
your points.
loser? Okay, can
Make
I
your point.
just give the correct...
Look at the liberal dude too. Like he cracking up. Yo, Cenk is wilding. He is not playing. Y'all better stop messing with this professor, bro. He not playing with y'all, man.
Hey, Alan, you deserve a tall glass of shut-up juice, so can you just shut up for a second?
Martin with the $2 donation. He said, "Dude's not having it. He not playing, bro. He just watched that Tyson fight. Talk crazy to me if you want to, Cenk. It's going down. He not playing, bro. He a professor and everything. You know how many books you wrote? You ain't about to talk to me crazy."
And let someone who knows what
Not
they're
if
doing...
you're
so
gonna
right,
personally
Piers.
attack
You're
me.
so right.
So-
We're so
Make
unified
any
right now.
point
It's
you
great.
want.
So-
I will not sit here and stand
So-
for personal attacks, for blasphemy against me. You don't need to do that. You don't boost your
Blasphemy
ego
against
by
you? Who the hell are
attacking
you?
me
Are you
like that.
Jesus
Just
Christ,
make your
you
points.
loser? Okay, can
Make your
I
points.
just give the correct answer for once? Okay, here we go. So, guys...
Hold on, one more time.
Against me. You don't need to do that. You don't boost
Blasphemy
your ego
against you?
by
Who the hell are
attacking
you?
me
Are you
like that.
Jesus
Just
Christ,
make your
you
points.
loser? Okay.
Yo, what kind of room is this dude in? Yo, he ain't even got like... Yo, you can tell he like a TikTok influencer, bro. Like what?
Hey, can I just give the correct answer for once? Okay, here we go. So, guys, you're blaming disinformation. There was disinformation. There was the cats and the dogs nonsense. The points you're making about undocumented immigrants, I agree with, Alan, okay? But that didn't cost the election. The main disinformation was about how the election was going to be rigged. And it wasn't rigged. It was dumb. They won easily. There was no need for that disinformation. You guys are missing the whole point. The people who are at fault are not other people. It is the candidate, Kamala Harris, the previous candidate, Joe Biden, Democratic Party, Democratic leadership. You guys don't want to admit that they're the problem. They're the cancer in the Democratic Party. So you blindly lash out at the voters, at information, at social media, and you want to shut down anyone who disagrees with you. That's not the correct answer. There are three wings of the Democratic Party. There's the establishment wing that the great majority, almost everyone on television supports and kisses the ass of and does propaganda for.
Come on, bro. Cenk is... Where you at in the hood, Cenk? Like, why you be talking like this, bro?
That wing has led to disaster. They lost to Donald Trump twice, nearly lost to him 3 times. And then the other wing is called the progressive wing, but those are two different sets of people. In the progressive, so-called progressive wing, what you have is the identitarian left, the people who do what the right wing would call woke politics and identity politics, and that is disastrous. That's what the trans ad was at the end, and it cost us. The most popular part of the Democratic Party is the populist left. That is the Bernie Sanders 2016 campaign. That part says, let's do super popular economic proposals like paid family leave, higher minimum wage, universal health care, public option. Let's do all of these things. And the establishment goes, no, our corporations don't want that. Our donors don't want that. So we'll just do identity politics. And maybe identity politics will unite the left. But it didn't. Identity politics led to disaster. It was a poison within the Democratic Party, used ironically by the establishment Democrats because they didn't want to talk about popular proposals that we have because their donors hate those proposals.
Okay.
Cenk kind of talking right now.
Let me bring in Harry. Now, Harry, you tweeted or posted on X on November the 6th. Kamala Harris's speech was amazing, graceful, strong, hit the right tone. She's a fantastic leader and a great role model. No idea how she lost to Trump. You're a bright young guy, Harry. I've interviewed you several times. Right? You know why she lost. And that speech, in a way, to me, was the perfect illustration. She basically said nothing. She talked
Shout out to Martin with the $2 donation. He said, Cenk doesn't really sound like a lefty anymore. Hey, did you see Martin? He did like it was like a blog, and he was basically saying, you know, Kamala Harris is in trouble, and he was talking about the polls and what they were reading and how she was losing in the polls. That shocked me, you know, that he was talking like that. So, I mean, I don't know, man. Maybe he's starting to see the light. We'll see.
Billions of stars and the moonlight and shining lights and all that. There was nothing there. There was no meat on the bone, no substance. And that was her problem throughout the whole campaign. She had 100 days to show America, here's how I'm going to fix all your problems. Instead, she did the Hillary Clinton playbook. After promising us...
Hold on, real quick. I want to ask y'all this quick. Have y'all seen these shoes? Because I'm thinking about getting these shoes, bro. We're going to go back to that. They call it like the Cloud 5s, bro. Like, I went to Foot Locker. My bad to disrupt for shoes. I tried these on, man. These shoes is so comfortable. It's insane, man. Have y'all ever heard of these? They call it clouds or something. Like, my bad, y'all.
This joy and sunshine immediately pivoted to Trump's a Nazi. They're all fascists. They're all disgusting. And by the way, here are all my rich, famous entertainment friends who are all going to surround themselves on me on stages. Didn't work for Hillary. Didn't work for Kamala. And at some point, young guys like you who are the future of the Democrat Party, you've got to wake up and smell the cappuccino. You
Bay
need
Area.
a candidate that can resonate. I mean, Cenk's right. The Democrat candidate who has most resonated with the public was Bernie Sanders, right? You'd have done better with him. running a miselection. But you guys don't see it that way, do you?
Well, I think that since the election happened and sitting with it for a couple weeks, I know why Kamala Harris lost. You know, I think that what I said was premature. And I think it's a combination of what all the gentlemen around me are saying. I think it's like a middle ground in life, which I think is often the case, which is I think Professor Lichtman is right that it was a lot of disinformation pushed by a lot of bad actors in the right wing. But I think that Cenk and the gentleman beside me from Fox.
Harry, there was disinformation from the left as well. When you keep calling him a Nazi,
but Piers, it's not to the same.
Hang on.
It's
Let me
not to
finish
the
the
same.
point. When you keep
What you doing, bruh? Let Piers talk.
Keep calling Donald Trump a Nazi and a fascist and all these things, and his supporters, Nazi sympathizers,
his own
all that
supporters who
is
called him a Nazi.
total disinformation because he hasn't murdered 12 million people, and he's not going to.
Well,
and by the
Piers,
way, you all know that. So the disinformation
Piers,
is on both sides.
I disagree. Yeah. I disagree with calling Donald Trump a Nazi or calling him Hitler. But I want to be clear that it was his own former advisors who called him that and likened him to Hitler. Kamala Harris never got on a stage and said, "Oh yeah, Trump's Hitler now." She just alluded to the fact and brought up the fact that his own former advisor said that. But I also want to make the point that I think that Cenk and the gentleman from Fox News is right when it comes to the economy. I think we were not great when it came to messaging on the economy. The benefit that Trump had is that he could put his slogan on a yard sign. He could say, Kamala Harris, Democrats, high prices, Trump and Vance, low prices. Kamala Harris, on the other hand, was tasked with explaining, okay, here's why inflation went up. Obviously, it's not Joe Biden and me. It's because of external factors. Here's why gas prices went up. Obviously, it's not me. It's external factors. You know, if you're explaining, you're losing, as the famous saying goes. Yeah. So that was the uphill battle that we had. And I think there was kind of a perfect storm that led to Donald Trump being elected. And I think that I disagree with Cenk.
But you're missing
often.
something else. You're missing something else,
Sure.
which is all the culture war stuff that we kept being assured by the left nobody cared about. No one cares about the trans debates, right? Nobody cares that biological men are wrecking women's sport. Nobody cares that they're invading women's personal spaces, and so on and so on. No one cares that kids are being put through mutilating surgery before puberty. And we kept being told, nobody cares about this. Leave them all alone. It's transphobic. I'm not transphobic. I wanted trans people, as I still do, to have fairness and equality in their lives exactly the same as all of us on this panel. But when you keep telling people it is fair, on the one hand, Democrats said, we protect women's rights on abortion. On the other hand, we're absolutely fine for women's rights in sport to be traduced at this ridiculous altar of biological men who are now trans women competing against women and beating them. You can't be both. So the public went, this is, and you're shaking your head, but look, the New York Times did a report about that ad, which the Trump campaign did so successfully and repeatedly.
I saw it.
You know, Kamala's for they, them, Trump's for you. They reckon it moved the needle by 2.5 points. It was the most successful and effective 30-second ad in modern political history. So people did care. And the Democrats were just too deluded, it seemed to me, because most of them, you must realize
Somebody said Pierce is a liar. Why do you think he's a liar?
this issue of trans athletes in women's sport is wrong. You all know it's wrong. For some reason, you wouldn't get off that train. And that delusion was one of the reasons that you lost so badly, I believe.
But Piers, to Professor Lichtman's point, that ad in and of itself contained misinformation. The ad was saying, oh, Kamala Harris wants to pay for prisoners' transgender surgeries.
All right, said it a few years ago, but she said it.
But wait, hold on. In the New York Times also reported that this took place under Donald Trump's presidency as well, because depriving a trans prisoner the right to get gender-affirming care is, Cenk, it's the law, it's the Constitution, is against the Constitution of the United States, preventing cruel and unusual punishment. Because if somebody is deemed medically necessary to receive care, no matter what that care is, and you ban it or say, no, you can't get it, that absolutely falls under cruel and unusual punishment. So Donald Trump did the same thing. And that's
I want to hear what Larry Elder got to say about this.
An example of the disinformation, or at least the lack of context that Trump's campaign
do you accept, Harry?
No.
Do you accept that this
Cenk, I'm sorry, yes.
But do you accept the so-called cultural stuff that I would frame as a kind of very, very far left progressive woke stuff that I've seen a lot of Democrats in the more center part of the party coming out now and publicly saying what I was saying for a long time. Apparently Bill Clinton kept warning them internally. David Axelrod has come out and said, we've got to stop this. Joe Scarborough did a big monologue about it on Morning Joe. At some point, you've got to recognize that most average Americans just found all that stuff complete bullshit. And that's one of the reasons you lost.
Piers, like, stop saying bad words, man. I know you're trying to get it lit, but come on, Piers.
And you've got to move on from it. If you come back with another woke progressive platform in 4 years' time, you will be out of office potentially for 4 more, 8 more, maybe 12 more years. I promise you. Take it to the bank.
So, Piers, I agree to a degree, but not in the way that you're framing it. I think that we do have to move on from a lot of the culture war stuff. I don't like the word woke, but I understand the context of you using it. I think that, yes, and to some degree we have to move on. But by moving on, we shouldn't throw people under the bus. We shouldn't say, oh, trans people are the reason why, or LGBTQ plus people are the reason why. That's not the reason why. It's just that the culture war stuff came off as very kind of gross to some Americans. They really didn't like it. So I agree to a degree, but not in the way that you're framing.
Okay, let's talk about race, because it seems...
Can I get in here?
Well, one second, Shane.
Because...
hang on. Okay. One thing, I'll come to you, Shane, don't worry. On the issue of race, many people found it extraordinary that a guy who a lot of people think is racist beat a black woman, and that a lot of people that helped him win turned out to be a lot more black men voting for him than first time, and a lot more Latinos voting for him than the previous times. How important, if at all, was race in the end? Or was it actually a case of a lot of black and Latino people went, we don't care about all that stuff. What we care about is jobs, cost of living, illegal immigration, and so on?
Well, I think everybody cares about jobs, cost of living, inflation, and so on. And by the way, I don't think you're right about those numbers. I think there were more black men than black women who went towards Trump. But remember, they're still a small segment of the overall electorate. The big shift, actually, as I said, Latino men was a huge shift, and they're also not that big a section of the electorate. The big electorate in this country still is white people, and overwhelmingly white men went for Donald Trump, and white women who I thought, and I think a lot of pollsters thought, given the abortion issue and the success of abortion as an issue that favored Democrats in 2020, but also after the Dobbs decision in 22 and all the referenda, the white women again voted for Trump. But so you talk about, is this a race issue? The race issue may be that white Americans were overwhelmingly in support of Donald Trump. And if you look at black America as overall black America supported Kamala Harris. Overall, Latino America supported Kamala Harris, even Latino men who had that big shift. So to me, race is a part of the story because, in America, the demographics are creating anxiety. And I think the anxiety is most evident in terms of white America seeing that there are more black people, but also Latinos as the second largest group in the country now, and rising number of Asians. It plays out in so many ways. And I think Donald Trump is just expert at exploiting, that racial anxiety to say to people, these Democrats are playing identity politics or whatever. I think the identity politics overwhelmingly is played by Donald Trump with white America.
Cenk, you wanted to jump in.
Yeah, so look, I'm going to...
Let me go to some of these comments. Somebody said, get the F out of here with that BS. This was talking about something. Somebody said, I hate that kid, Harry, with a passion. That's not Larry. See, y'all seeing something. I will say what I want under the First Amendment.
Let me address what Juan's saying, too. But first, Harry, I know that the same policy was under Donald Trump, but that's not disinformation. That's for our candidate to go out there and clarify that and to fight back and to make her case. But she refused to make her case. She barely did any interviews. They were all incredibly structured to protect her fragile ego. All she did was talking points. Donald Trump's out there, sometimes like a maniac, but a lot of times looking like a real person at McDonald's and with a garbage truck. And our side goes, oh, that's terrible. No, it's not terrible. Those are great photo ops.
It was brilliant.
When our guy is a corporate talking robot, that is not helpful. We are misdiagnosing the case here. So when on these
let me
identity
jump in
issues,
here.
the Republicans set traps. No, hold on.
The Republicans set traps for us. So the great majority of the country is in favor of trans rights, and I'm 100% in favor of trans rights, and I bet you that the entire panel, including Piers, says that as well.
Yeah.
But when you go beyond rights and you say, hey, they dug and dug, they tried to find, hey, how about banning them from the military? Trump tried that in the beginning. It wasn't popular. Banning them from bathrooms, not popular. But they dug until they got to sports, and that was winning ground for them. And what I said is, guys, get out of there. It's a trap. You don't have to fight on that. You're falling into their trap. And what happened, as Piers can attest to, is everyone else on the left screamed, transphobe, fascist, Nazi. Let's dig in on our least popular position. That was terrible politics.
Totally agree with
and
that.
Juan, I love you, brother, but it ain't about race. It ain't about race.
You know what?
Latino men
Cenk?
didn't vote for. Hold on. Latino men didn't vote for Donald Trump because all of a sudden they like white people or orange people. They voted for him based on economic issues. Democrats only think in terms of identity, but that's not working anymore. The number one identity people care about is not Latino, black, or white. It's class. Are you going to do something for the average man, or are you going to sit there and play identity politics so you avoid the more important questions that your donors don't want to talk about that actually helps the average guy, like paid family
Yeah, how come this guy not talking no more?
leave and higher wages?
Okay, Professor Lippman.
I don't get it, Cenk. I don't get it. The reality is, like, Bill Clinton, Bernie Sanders, Barack Obama, they stood up for Obamacare. They stood up for fair pay. These are populist issues at the heart of the Democratic Party. You go after the Democratic Party donors and the establishment Democrats stood for those issues, brought them to the table, and won. And Democrats, if you look at what Joe Biden did in terms of bailing people out during the virus and saying that we have to have infrastructure and building, that helped working people in this country. But a lot of lies were told about that history.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, Professor, I know you've got to leave us, so you wanted to jump in there.
Yeah. First of all, let me add a quick fact. There was no massive switch of black voters to Donald Trump. Donald Trump got 13% of the black vote, 11% the last time. That's 2% of a very small segment of voters. So that's one of the big myths of this election. Second big myth is that hindsight is 20/20. We have a lot of Monday morning quarterbacks who, after the fact, are telling us what Harris should and should not have done. And half of them are saying she lost because she was too progressive. She was too open to the charge of being a radical, a socialist. The other half have said, of course, she lost because she wasn't progressive enough. We heard that from Cenk today. It's all sports talk radio without the entertainment. There is no way to know after the fact what she should or should not have done. If she had only done this or that, it would have made a difference. That's just hot air with absolutely no proof. The
Caleb said, I have no issue with you. Oh, you guys going at
difference that I bring to the table is a track record of successful prediction based upon how American presidential elections have previously worked as pragmatic decision-making on whether or not the White House party has governed well enough. And then my analysis is based upon what's changed, what's shattered the pattern of 160 years of history. So I have a base for my analysis. I'm not just doing Monday morning quarterbacking. Cenk, you need to learn some manners. Your act is getting really thin.
I mean, brother, I said what was going to go wrong. It did go wrong. I was right. You were wrong in this election spectacularly so with your so-called keys. And now you come and tell us not the Monday morning
unlike you, I'm willing to admit when I'm wrong.
Are you ever going to learn the lessons?
Can I just ask,
hang
on. Just ask, for those who have no idea what the key thing is all about, why are you flashing keys?
Okay, because this brother said that he had these keys and they were going to determine the outcome of the election, and all the keys were rigged in favor of incumbents. And I tried to explain to him, no, there are things outside of the keys. We literally had a debate, and I asked him, what if Joe Biden, this was back when he was defending Joe Biden, which now seems unconscionable, what if Biden came and punched a baby every single day? Would your keys still hold? And he said yes. Okay, well, then you're an unreasonable person.
I was right.
But what I'm most worried about is not the past,
Let me
it's
explain
the future.
why. I was right.
I've been listening to him.
Yeah, hey, they going at it, bro.
Biden.
You have no idea how absurd you sound. Okay, but guys, the most important thing is not between me and Professor Lichtman. God bless you, brother. I know you did a lifetime's worth of work, and I feel a little bit bad about it. The reason I'm saying it is not to rub it in now. It's because I'm worried that in the next primary, you're going to tell people to vote for the establishment Democrat. That all of you on this panel are going to go, oh no, vote for the corporate robot, vote for the corporate robot. And that's going to destroy this party. That's why I'm fighting back so aggressively.
Give me a name.
No, vote for the populist left.
Give me a name.
Well, in the old days, it easily would have been Bernie Sanders.
Who is it now?
Too old. So look, I would start considering Sean Fain, head of the UAW, Sean O'Brien, head of the Teamsters, Jon Stewart. Go outside of politics. Almost everyone in politics is already corrupted. Find someone who is not corrupted and who's for the average man.
Harry, you're shaking your head, but I mean, Jon Stewart, if he could be persuaded, I would imagine could be very good as a candidate, couldn't he?
No, I don't take objection to Jon Stewart. I just think we have some people in the Democratic Party who are very talented right now who could be the Democratic nominee. Governor Shapiro won Pennsylvania by like 20 points. Governor Wes Moore in Maryland. How much more connected to people do you need other than like Wes Moore, who's great? Raphael Warnock from Georgia won a swing state and is a senator from a swing state. Gretchen Whitmer.
Yo, he actually knows what he's talking about right now. He don't be knowing what he be talking about normally, but he's spot on with this.
Who had a trifecta in Michigan for the first time in a long time. There's really talented people in the Democratic Party who are elected officials right now, and Cenk can shake his head all he'd like, but these people are winning in swing states overwhelmingly.
Who would you like to see, Harry?
I think any of the people I just mentioned, I'd love to see. And there's plenty more, but I think we're going to have a great primary.
I'm pretty sure, I would lay good money now that J.D. Vance will be the Republican nominee in 2028.
I'd say it's probably a good bet.
Because I think he's actually, he, in direct contrast to Mr. Waltz, who I thought was a total disaster, I thought J.D. Vance started with a lot of negativity, but became a real force for Trump, particularly in getting young men to come out and vote for him. So I suspect he'll be the nominee, but we'll see. Professor Lichtman, we're going to say goodbye to you. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. I appreciate it. In a moment.
Hey, he my favorite one. He been snapping, bro.
We're now going to be joined by, to add to our panel, the Ohio State Senator Nina Turner. And first making his uncensored debut, the host of the Kyle Kulinski Show, Kyle Kulinski. Well, Kyle, welcome to Uncensored. We're trying to get you for a long time. Let's have a little chat with you before we get reaction.
Yo, he got 1 million subscribers. Hey, yo, I got to get this plaque, bro. Subscribe to the channel. Stop playing.
From the panel, but why did the Democrats blow it so badly? And what do they do to avoid this happening again in 4 years?
I mean, the simple answer is that Kamala Harris kind of codes as a technocratic status quo manager and Trump codes as a change agent. And so, I mean, to sum it up as simply as possible, voters just thought he's going to deliver more change. She's more of the same, and they broke for him.
Mm-hmm.
Who would you like to see run the party now? I mean, what's the future of the Democrats looking like to you?
Jon Stewart. I've been pushing that since the day Trump won this time around, because what we need is, honestly, a controversial, charismatic celebrity might make all of the difference, but it's that mixed with Bernie Sanders' policies of actually delivering social democracy for people, raising their pay, getting them health care. I think. No,
KB, shout out to you. I know you subscribe. Shout out to you.
I think that's the magic stew. And honestly, I think it's a shame that more people aren't.
Martin with the $5 donation said Tulsi Gabbard will win a primary against JD, then go on to be the first woman president. Nobody see this coming except me. Hey, I ain't saying you wrong. That's actually, it could possibly happen. I think JD Vance would be really good on the campaign trail, but I mean, anything's possible.
Talking about the controversial, charismatic celebrity portion of Trump being so successful.
Yo, he kind of, this dude kind of crapping on my silver play button. I work it took me like years to get this button, bro. He got like a gold one. Bro, he got a gold one and a silver one, bro. We're not doing this, bro. We got to get this gold one, man.
Is that you can't keep the cameras off him. He's entertaining. Love him or hate him, you can't stop watching him. And so we need to sort of mirror that on the left, and I think the way of doing that is Jon Stewart.
But I would add to that what Bill Maher's been warning for a long time.
What is y'all doing? We got 104,985 subscribers, right? I got 1 million. It's like 2,200 people watching. What is y'all doing? The subscribe button is right there. Hit it. Stop playing with me, thug life. Hit the button. Hate when I get 900,000. Subscribe now.
Speaking as a liberal himself, and I'm pretty much where he is politically, I think. I feel the same way. And I know you've been keen to say, look, Kamala didn't mention any of these woke issues or whatever. She's very much associated with a lot of those woke issues. She's certainly voted in line with a lot of the more progressive.
Hey, y'all, this video got, hold on. Because we about to talk about Diddy in a minute. Christy K said, just subscribe. We got 169,000 views on this video. Shout out to you for subscribing.
Stuff like allowing.
We got 105,000 subscribers. Shout out! Thug Life! You know what I mean? Shout out to all y'all.
Transgender athletes and sport.
But also, y'all in the comments, let me know. Do y'all just go to the shorts or do y'all be watching like long form videos too? Let me know.
Sport and so on. So she's seen to be a progressive who then moved rapidly to the center when she got the nomination, and it was all too much of a screech for people, probably on both sides. But this whole woke ideology.
Hey, Christian Cavalier, I seen you in here earlier. Like, comment, you trying to play me?
I don't mean the original woke ideology of raising awareness for racial and social injustice. I mean the way it's become a kind of new form of fascism.
Shorts? Okay.
Where the far left just basically want to cancel, shame, and humiliate absolutely anybody who disagrees with them about anything. Do you accept that has become a problem, a stick to beat the party with, which actually really damages them electorally?
No, I think Kamala ran basically the platonic ideal of a non-woke Democratic campaign.
Right. Jane Jones said, I like live chats the best. And then Ricky For Real said, I watch it all. All right.
She never mentioned race. She never mentioned gender. She never mentioned trans people. She never mentioned pronouns or Latinx or cancel culture. She repeatedly stressed that she was going to represent all Americans. She ran to the right on the issue of the border. She talked about owning a gun. She ran on freedom and patriotism. And so when you put all that stuff together, I simply don't know what people are talking about. When
I see with the 799 said, are you on the same page with Lord Jamar voting for Trump? Yes.
They say she's
well, they're
too
talking
woke.
about
She
her
didn't mention
record.
those things at
Well,
all.
hang on. They're talking about her record as vice president of the Biden administration, where they never stopped talking about this stuff for nearly 4 years.
I mean, I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna say a whole bunch of like mean things about her and stuff like that. I just, to be real, I think she's a smart woman. I just don't think she's presidential. You see what I'm saying? She's not somebody that I would want to vote for president, because I see her as being more of the same. And then I didn't like she was trying to get all these celebrities to try to convince us to vote for her. And when Barack Obama was shaming black people, and then like Michelle Obama was like telling women not to listen to the men and all of that, that kind of, a lot of that, and then the identity politics that they normally do, right? I'm tired of that. I feel like it's an attack on men in America. It's just how I feel, you know, and it's just, I can't vote for that party right now, bro. I can't do it.
So you could pretend when you get the nomination, whoa, I'm a centrist and I'm a gun-toting Rambo, by the way, as well, to all you Second Amendment people. But actually, if you judge her on what she said and did in 4 years, she was a progressive left person. And to pretend otherwise is to just ignore what went on in that period.
What I'm much more concerned about is not Democrats being woke or Democrats censoring speech. I'm much more concerned about Trump's record on those things. So, for example, Trump said he wants to punish flag burning with a year in jail. That's against the First Amendment. He sued CNN for $475 million for calling election denialism the big lie. Before he was president, he sued Bill Maher for $5 million over a joke.
I don't understand this dude right here, right? You're a content creator. You understand how the limitations are like impacting creators from being able to really just sit down and like make content and be good. Like, you had a whole situation where people was like YouTubes was being like, you know what I mean? For whatever reason, I don't know, like whatever reason, you know, like around election day, like all that stuff was going on. Like, come on, bro. How can you like want free speech and to be able to talk and then vote for that party?
He
That
said he
makes
wants
no
to open
sense.
up the libel laws. He called for jailing journalists who report on the Supreme Court abortion ruling early before the decision.
How many of those things did he do
wants to
in his
deport
first term?
pro-Palestine protesters.
How many things?
What's that?
How many of those things did he actually do in his first term? Because it seems to me another problem, and he does this brilliantly, by the way, with the left. He sucks you in because he just shoots them a hip and he says stuff that crosses his mind or whatever. And rather than pick him off on stuff he actually does, you all go completely nuts every time he opens his mouth and says something a bit crazy. And if I was advising the Democrats, I'd be like, stop doing this. You're literally playing into his trap every time you do this. Just pick him off.
If you want
pick him off on the stuff he actually does. Then you got a better chance.
All right, I'll do that. Here, ready? He gag ordered the EPA from telling the truth on climate change. That's deeply anti-free speech. He arrested and charged 6 journalists with felony rioting. He did not pardon Assange. He did not pardon Snowden. He did not pardon Daniel Hale. He wanted to invoke the Insurrection Act to deploy the U.S. to deploy our own troops against George Floyd protesters. These are all things that are actually on the record, things he actually did. And the thing that I find incredibly frustrating is that nobody talks about it. Trump magically gets a pass for things he actually did.
He doesn't
whereas
get
Democrats
a pass.
get held to a super high standard.
Come on, he doesn't
well,
get a pass.
How many times have you heard
Trump
people
has
say
had,
those things I just
Trump
told you?
has had.
Wait.
Hang on. Let me answer you. Let me
When was
answer
the
you.
last time you
Trump
heard
has had the most unrelentingly hostile media from a mainstream media that is largely staffed by liberals. We know this because the way they all go nuts when their paper wouldn't come out and endorse Kamala and they all resign, so they reveal their true colors. Cable news the same, MSNBC, CNN, you can fire a harpoon
Okay, let's say he's explaining that right now.
around their newsrooms and you wouldn't hit a conservative, right? So let's just get real about the way mainstream media is made up. I've worked in it, and there are very few conservatives, and that is part of the problem as well. And I just think that ultimately, if the Democrats are going to try and make themselves electable, they've got to move wholesale on now to a far more effective way of campaigning. And it can't just be every time Donald Trump speaks, mass hysteria, shaving your head, going on TikTok and posting videos of yourself screaming and saying you'll never have sex with a Trump supporter again. All this stuff is insane.
How about just telling the truth? Wait. How about just telling the truth? That's a radical idea, right? When was the last time you heard that Trump arrested and charged 6 journalists with felony rioting? Who talked about that? Did CNN talk about that? Did MSNBC talk about that? Did you talk about that? Nobody talks about it. And the fact of the matter is Trump attacks Democrats 4 times as hard as they attack him.
Yeah.
So if
why dudes for Kamala be looking like that though? Like I'm just like not trying to be weird, but like, come on.
anything, the lesson to take away is the opposite. Democrats should get more arrogant, they should get more aggressive, and they should tell the truth more.
Come on, Kyle. You know that would be utter suicide.
That's the truth.
You know what? You wouldn't be as good at it as he is, because he does it with humor. You lot all do it with these incredibly straight-faced, virtue-signaling, I'm outraged by absolutely everything faces. And it's like, if you all just chilled out a bit, have a bit of Kool-Aid,
No.
have a bit of a laugh.
That's why I said Jon Stewart.
Death by mockery. Well, actually, you're right. Jon Stewart gets exactly the right tone. On that, I agree with you.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah,
we agree. Yeah.
I agree. Let's bring in Nina Turner and the rest of the panel. Nina, you've floated that Rahm Emanuel as a new DNC chair would be a good signal that the Democrat Party is only there for the donor class. Many other people would say that Rahm Emanuel's a very effective political operator.
Rahm Emanuel, wasn't he like a corrupt mayor in New York? I'm sorry,
But
Chicago.
actually, the Democrats need a bit of that muscle now.
Appears very effective at a cover-up. As we know, as mayor of the city of Chicago, he covered up the police murder of Laquan McDonald.
Mm-hmm.
He closed many schools in the black community, certain segments
Hold on, allegedly.
The Black community are very outraged by him. He is more of the same and should be as far away from the DNC as possible. Now, if the Democrats want to lose again and get handed again like they just did in 2024, then go ahead and have Rahm Emanuel there. But if they want to do a new thing and answer to the working class people of this country from all backgrounds, then they need to have somebody there, primarily who's going to say no more dark money in Democratic primaries. Rahm Emanuel is an absolute no. We know that the Chicago Teachers Union feels the same way, and many others will come out against him if he decides to run for that.
Okay. Juan, let me bring you.
I'm going to say no. Didi Sarasin said January 6th was... Look, but... Hey, Didi, did you hear what Trump actually said about that? He said, go to the Capitol and make your voices peacefully and patriotically be heard. Like, he said peacefully and patriotically. Like, he never told them to do anything other than that. You know, so peacefully and patriotically, that's what he said.
You back in, because MSNBC is now at war, which is always entertaining to watch, because Joe and Mika from the end of last week, after bombarding him with abuse for years and years and years, having originally been great friends of his, but another MSNBC presenter, Katie Fang, has now tweeted, normalizing Trump is a bad idea, period. So clearly there is an internal fracturing going on, which I suspect is going on in the Democrat Party at large, because I would urge them to be more collegiate with Trump. I've always felt that he's one of those guys, he's a natural pugilist. If you read his book, The Art of a Deal, he says, if you punch me, I'll punch you 10 times back. Actually, if you go and hang out with Trump, and I've criticized him as much as I've praised him, he can take criticism if he feels like you're not just unrelentingly...
One thing, you guys remember when Donald Trump went on the Joe Rogan podcast and he was talking about how some of his people that he were, I can't necessarily say friends, but he was like really close to him. They ended up, one of them messaged Trump, was like, yo, like, I got to take this job, I think on CNN, but if I take the job, which they're paying a lot of money, I'm going to have to be negative on you. You know what I mean? So I want you to know, like, what's going on, because I don't want you to think, you know what I mean? Like, should I take the job? Like, what do you think about it? And Trump was like, hey, man, get the money. Do what you got to do. I got tough skin. Like, you know what I mean? Get your money. You know, that's not going to stop me. And then I'll look at him like he's going to be the president again. You know, and then shout out to IC with the $7.99. He said, Team Blues said they won't support Trump because he spread lies, but didn't Biden cover up the genocide in Gaza?
Abusive. So I actually thought that Joe and Mika, we'll play a clip from what they said this morning, but I thought this was a good move on their part. Let's take a look.
Joe and I went to Mar-a-Lago to meet personally with President-elect Trump. It was the first time we have seen him in 7 years.
Now, we talked about a lot of issues, including abortion, mass deportation, threats of political retribution against political opponents, and media outlets. We talked about that a good bit. And it's going to come as no surprise to anybody who watches this show, has watched it over the past year or over the past decade, that we didn't see eye to eye on a lot of issues, and we told him so.
What we did agree on was to restart communications.
Well, what do you make of that? I mean, you know, I actually feel America's been so toxic in the way it's become so tribal, and they've been part of that, no question, on one side, and Fox have done it, I guess, on the other, and so on. Should we encourage both sides to come together a bit more, like they used to in the old days?
Sure. I mean, look, I'm all for people working together, building bridges, kumbaya. I'm all for it because I think, you know what? If you look at the Congress of the United States, totally polarized, they're also totally paralyzed. They're not getting anything done.
Yeah.
We need to get things done. And on the world stage, I could go on and on. But I think that with Joe and Mika, and I watched that show, so I'm no critic of it in that sense because I subscribe, if you will. But let me just tell you, it looked to me like their ratings have gone through the floor.
They have, yeah.
And I think that when people talk about Trump, you talk about Trump, he's a celebrity. People have said you can't take the camera off him. I think for them, it's like, you know what? This is a way to get back in the media ratings game. You know, the idea that we're connected to Trump. People like to advertise on shows they know the president might be watching. They would love to get Trump to, instead of watching Fox and Friends, to watch some of Joe and Mika, Morning Joe. But, to me, that's it really calls into question, have they been authentic when they were saying that this guy is so harsh when it comes to women?
And then R Starlick said, Ricky, I didn't know. Oh, y'all talking to each other.
So harsh and racist when it comes to blacks and Latinos, and has an authoritarian, even as we were saying, fascist streak. So were they sincere about that, or are they now falling in line with others who find, you know what, I want to get on the bandwagon because Trump has just been reelected and won the popular vote?
Yeah.
To my mind, you got to be straight about your authentic sense so that the audience can trust you, and I think they put that at risk today.
Well, it's interesting, Cenk, because the journalism professor and author
Piers.
Jeff Jarvis has accused them, Joe and Mika, of inflicting a, quote, betrayal on their colleagues, democracy, and us all. He treated it as a disgusting show of obeisance in advance.
Yeah. So I have a different opinion than everybody here. My first question would be, what are we agreeing on? So if you want to go to Trump to get him to agree on things that we agree with, like an anti-war position, fantastic. Of course we should be open-minded to that. You'd be nuts not to be open-minded to that, right? If he were to actually do anti-corruption, which he always promises but never does, right? And you can get him to be open to that, fantastic. But why are Mika and Joe going there? To push for the public option? No, they're going over there to get access. And so they seem like utter frauds. Like, if they could show me policies that they care about that Donald Trump agrees to, or they have a strategy to get Donald Trump to do good and decent things, great. I'm super open to it. Look, I would want to do that. I got no problems with me meeting with Donald Trump, Elon Musk, or anything else along those lines. But what I'm not going to do is compromise my principles and my ideas just to get access.
Yeah.
So, like, for example, I mean, see the Democratic Party instantly going in the wrong direction. Rahm Emanuel is the biggest dog for corporate donors. Picking him could be...
Rahm Emanuel is so freaking corrupt, bro.
The worst possible thing you could do. Do you know that Rahm Emanuel lost 1,000 seats on his watch when he was at the DNC nationwide for the Democrats? There isn't a bigger loser in the Democratic Party. So look, we need a populist like Jon Stewart, which I actually, if you remember, Piers, I tried to get him into this race.
Yeah.
But John, call me. This guy never wants to, he doesn't realize how intensely popular he can be. By the way, another candidate for president could be Nina Turner, a person who actually fights for the average person, has always been right about the populist left and going for class instead of always being worried about identity politics. So there's so many options here.
Yeah. Kyle, a lot of people now say, including John Fetterman, that Nancy Pelosi should go. She's the godmother, the enforcer. Now she's blaming Biden. You can't have it both ways. I think it's really ironic. You have a woman of age 84 and she's still hanging on. Why not give a younger...
Yeah, Nancy Pelosi. They going in on her. All right, y'all, we about to talk about Diddy in a minute. We're going to take an intermission. Y'all hit the notification bell so y'all can get notified when the blogs drop. A shout out to I'm Your Godfather 1 said, new subscriber here. I accidentally found you scrolling through YouTube Shorts, and I've been watching for about an hour and a half now. Great job. Shout out to you for being... You know what I'm saying? Like, tuned into what we doing, you know what I mean? And then Be Wise Open Eyes said, you don't realize how important politics is until you start paying bills and buying groceries. Exactly. And then Susan Steffen said, 300,000. Ricky for real said, because you work with hand doesn't mean you're educated. I love if Trump gets the no tax overtime. I work 60, 70 hours a week. I hope he does, bro. But I think a lot of that's going to come through Congress. You know what I mean? But he's making promises like he's going to do something. So hopefully he follows through with it. You know what I'm saying? But y'all click the notification bell. We about to be back live. You know what I'm saying? Probably give me a little bit less than an hour and we're going to be back live. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to everybody. I'm out, y'all. Peace.